Alright, so we are inches outside of the Kett base right now, I believe, right? For all intents and purposes? Yeah. So that is... Huh. And that's the entrance? That's the place where it's actually marked? Okay. That is what we are, of course, planning to do right here, right now. I assume that this is going to be pretty similar to the Kett base that we encountered on Eos, in that it is certainly bigger than most of the other side quests-like encounters, but I mean, it is almost the extent of a main quest mission in that case, so are we still going to have to go through, shut off alarms, turn off shields, and then, after doing that, go into the actual base itself, and then fight through a bunch of different enemies and eventually get to a mini-boss of sorts? That's kind of what I'm expecting. I'm pretty sure that we saw shields outside of this base as well, right? So, I don't know. That's, at the very least, what I've mentally prepared myself for. As to whether that is actually what we will encounter, that remains to be seen. But let us prepare ourselves accordingly. Where exactly is the entrance? I mean, that's a way out, kind of, sort of. Not really, but I'm pretty sure we got this, right? That's it. This direction, or is this where we came from? Because I think this is where we came from, isn't it? Yeah, okay, so it should be right through here in this case. Straight ahead. Alright, so are we... Just verify... is that right? Alright. Hold on just a second. I was under the impression that we were quite literally on the doorstep of this base. Maybe that was not actually correct. I mean, certainly, for having just started up right here, I'm at the very least a little disoriented, not having the perspective of remembering which exact direction we came from. Well, there's definitely Kett people over here, so I would take that to mean we've not been this direction yet. Yeah, so I guess we're not directly going there. Might still have to loop around a little bit first, so alright. Well. Oh, you are... Yes, moving in. Any big dudes? Or is it just the Chosen? Just those guys aren't that big of a deal. Aimed at the wrong one.
Good one.
Is that oh no, that's our little recharge. For something that looked like he had a little bit of shields. I was like, I didn't think the Chosen had any shields. I didn't think you were an elite enemy of any variety, but okay, a little bit of experience there. Just grab ammo and what have you. So I assume that means that this is the direction of the base, and that is just going to be far from the last of the Kett we are going to see in this area. Did they drop anything? Not seeing anything? Oh, I take that back. Spoke too soon. See. Oh, Zalkin 4, and now I'm forgetting what number we've been on as of late. We certainly have seen a lot of those as recently, but yeah, I think it's probably the same level as ones we've been picking up. I assume these are... Oh, wait, we actually did get... Oh, hold on. I was gonna say, my, usually we get a little sound-like notification when we walk by stuff that is scannable. Because, of course, in the beginning... We're just scanning absolutely any and everything that we walked past, to the point where we slowed ourselves down considerably. But then I sort of went the opposite direction, stopped scanning, and less than until I heard that sound, but despite not having a sound there, did still pick up some, I think, somewhat significant quantities of research intel, so that's a little concerning that we might have missed a bunch in that case, but probably still be fine, seeing as how we were pretty thorough with that stuff previously. Okay, surely we are getting, yeah, close to the actual official entrance to the Kett base at this point. So yeah, as I said, I thought we were right on the doorstep, but perhaps that is only becoming the case right around now. Oh, yo!
Breaking their line.
Close enough to get you with this stuff? Or there's a shotgun person here, which is not really the kind of encounter I want to be going straight into like that, but we still made that work. Okay, anything hiding up here? Again, just do a quick little... anything here? Obviously, we can pick up... oh, we did shoot a little bit, but apparently we don't need to pick up ammo. Shotgun damage, reduced accuracy. Accuracy is pretty darn important for shotguns, so that's probably not a terribly helpful upgrade to get incendiary ammo. Not gonna lie, I totally read that as coconut unit at first. We'll take it. We'll take it. See, yeah, like, anything here? That, certainly the appearance starting to look different. I guess this was maybe the cave leading up to the actual base, and this might be the official base here. Whoa, hold on. Now the perspective is very different. Okay, this is, yes, showing now a totally different map. This is the actual interior of the base. So let's see, investigate Kett base, search Kett database. Oh, I did not even remember this was a thing. So let's just remind ourselves here. Investigate the base. Nilj and his team, whom you rescued from the Kett, were resistance operatives who were working to destroy the Kett. They discovered that the Kett Operations Station on the mountain controls all Kett missions for the planet and provides power to the shield that blocks access to an ancient Angaran city. Okay, so that was the shield that we saw before. Because, yeah, we saw the big shielded area, which didn't seem like it was in the... it's close, but it's not like that's where we currently are. Buxul, Nilj's sister, is helping you decrypt the password for the Kett Operations Station. And then this is just... take out the... information. First contact between Agar and Kett. Specifically from Kett point of view. Believes logs may be found near the operations center. Okay. Well, there's definitely going to be more Kett out here. I imagine perhaps more of the elite variety. Oh, there is a hazard here. Okay, I suppose we are outside, so that makes some sense. But there are at least some of these things. It's just going to complicate matters a bit, though. Apparently this guy hasn't seen us yet. At the moment, I mean, we are seeing a whole bunch of red dots. It looks like most of them are higher up on the... oh, okay, hold on. Are those normal chosen? They might be. They look a little bit bigger from this range. Just wondering if they were that sort of heavier machine gun type guys, but perhaps not. Because, yeah, on one hand, this guy, obviously we have a very easy shot on him, but might not be the best way to open, so to speak, but we'll do it anyway. That was, once he started moving, not my best shot. Not my best shot once he started moving. There we go. He's down. Yeah, they have a... I mean, I guess it's a base, so... understandable that they have well-fortified positions, but their cover is much better than our cover here. They have the high ground, and they have cover. And now, I don't really have an angle on any of the other dudes. Don't know if that guy died. I'm not sure if he did or not. I'm not seeing him pop up anymore, so I'm gonna say probably not. Also, I was paying
is falling, Pathfinder.
zero attention to whether we were technically in or out of the safe areas there. What's this? Thought that was gonna be the entrance for a second. Whoa, you are still there! You freaking liar!
To a storage building. The entry is...
sorry, what was that? The entry is... entry is what?
detecting below normal temperatures.
Yes. Just double checking if they drop anything, but apparently not. Quick scan. Try not to walk off the edge. This guy did obviously drop some stuff. It's up in 4 again. Probably just gonna end up scrapping a lot of those. This also can give us some life support back, but again, they've very distinct height advantage and in many cases cover line of sight advantage as well, it would seem.
The command base is just ahead. I know it's already pretty cold here, but stay extra frosty.
Pathfinder, I recommend you head toward the primary tower. It appears to be the core of the base.
Okay, I'm not really sure we're gonna have much in the way of choice in that. Oh, it's basically just bottom floor is most of Voeld, top floor is the base itself. Okay. So yeah, like main tower, or presumably is this, right? But I imagine in all likelihood we're just gonna more or less clear through this place in its entirety, or at least try to. Alright, we can't really dilly-dally out here because we are not next to a life support spot. Pretty sure that was a wraith. I want to be next to this, so there's more of them than I thought.
Life support at 100%.
I just wanted that. Yeah, because that's the other tricky thing is we have worse line of sight and worse cover than our enemies do, but we also are very limited in where we can go based on what spots have the life support and which spots don't. Oh, okay. You are a big dude. Apparently. Was it just you? It was not just you. Yeah, I'll be honest, I didn't really know what angle of approach was going to be best. I was kind of just hoping this was going to be a little side room of sorts. That was kind of funny.
Clear.
So that we could kind of whittle away at the periphery of their defenses and not go straight into the heart of everything. Because that would probably be more difficult. But apparently there's stuff up above because...
I'm detecting below normal temperatures.
Okay, yes. True. Is there actually anything up here, though?
I'm reading a normal temperature.
Oh, yes, there very much is. Oh, ow. Yeah, well, we knew there were some enemies over there. Can we go? Oh, we can't go through that. Okay.
Giving shield.
It does actually give us some, but that was not what I meant. It does give us some life support back, though. Oh, we can destroy the cover. That's interesting. That's one of the normal guys down. Two of the normal guys down. Was one of the elite shotgunners, I thought. Life support?
Giving shield assist.
I'm reading a temperature difference.
Okay. Oh, there's more. Yeah, that's the person I was thinking of. Just do it this way. Oh, that's the sound of that. I think. Do all Kett make that sort of low voice, or for a second I thought that was specifically the sound of the bigger dudes. And obviously there's more enemies over here somewhere. Hello,
Life
friends.
support is back online.
Oh, how I wish I could grab you right now. Kinda hard to see through all that. You're dead. Do some cover penetration with our weapons, so in truth, we may not need to be too concerned about them hiding behind stuff like that, at least thin cover like that. Is that? No, that's Cora. I'll be honest, I'm not sure where they are coming from, but apparently it's behind us? Yes, it is. Okay, I heard more of them. Below us? Okay, yeah, so admittedly, like, the three-dimensionality of this place is going to make it a little bit trickier to know when and where we should be exploring stuffs. So it is a pretty big area.
The security terminal has locked down access to the Kett Tower. The terminal is protected by a force field. I have marked the location of the 3 Kett generators that power the force field. Disabling all the generators will allow you to shut down the security terminal.
And I imagine doing so is also going to alert even more Kett to our presence, and therefore gonna cause the wave after wave of enemies that we encountered in the previous Kett base? I'm expecting that to happen at some point in time. That was sort of an alarm-based thing last time, but maybe that only happens once we start doing this.
That's one generator down.
Let's see what this is as well. New stock? Translated from, apparently that's the name of the Kett language. I'm not sure if we ever heard that before, but actually, or at least the name of it, but new stock captured in the west, you know that's gotta mean Angara, right? Many for work camp, some for higher purpose, exaltation, presumably. You'll be pleased, I am certain. I will send one to you. Male, strong, genetics stable. It will suit the mission. Then we speak of my elevation, of course. So then he wants to benefit from some of this stuff. Wait, what? Okay, hold on. Then you'll enjoy hearing we are strong in this mission, but I write to tell you of the Canyon Pass. My scouts will not venture close. They say the ice is dark and holds dangers. They hear strange sounds. Some scouts never return. I suggest to abandon this route. There are things we do not know. Maybe that's one of the areas with the ancient life forms that the Angara were telling us about at the previous base that we visited. Request help? Healer. I request diagnosis. Since landing on this planet, I hear things when I sleep. Strange melodies. Half memories. I played music once. There were smiles. A warm room. Why these sounds? This feeling? This planet makes me hurt. Okay, so didn't we learn that in most cases the Kett do not remember the specifics of the people who have been exalted into... I mean, one person is exalted into an existing Kett, right? Although, rather than being transformed into an entirely new Kett, that's... I think it's kind of both, or, you know, can be either, really, based on what we had seen before, because it definitely seems like there are some people here, like this guy, who are saying, hey, I want to be promoted, if you will, by receiving the benefit of some of this exaltation, whereas, as we saw in the original Voeld Kett base / place where they captured a bunch of people, we saw an Angara just get transformed into a Kett. And in that case, obviously, they were not a Kett to begin with. Prefect. One of the creatures slated for work attempted escape today. It freed over half the newly captured stock. A waste, but it has demonstrated initiative and skill. I recommend you take a look and consider it for a higher purpose. I trust your vision, of course. Your decision on the matter will be final. Update from the Prefect. Our attempts to release the repugnant Angara AI from their frozen city are behind schedule. Archon continues to instruct me to capture it and not to destroy it. More slaves are required. The frequency of raids will be increased. That is all. Okay, so similar to the operation they were running, it would seem, in EOS, and that this one, oh, that might be the first time I've ever heard turret, seen turret. Which does make me a little concerned. In most other Mass Effect games, turrets are pretty nasty. And I'm pretty sure that's the thing that was just trying to shoot at us. So I'm gonna cloak, then try to get it again, because it doesn't quite seem to have line of sight on us, but
Environment check. Temperatures are within
perhaps it's
acceptable
close.
parameters. Life support is back online.
So that fire explosion was going to more or less take it out. It did not. It does explode when you take it out, which is a good thing to try to note for future reference. Did see this thing, but I was concerned about the turret. There are definitely still more Kett in the general area, but it seems like we have enough time to do this.
Lots of consoles.
If the Kett maintain logs, we may be able to access them from here. Once we are in, I can perform a search to locate relevant data.
Okay, I assume once we activate more of those things that that'll probably become available to us. I thought I saw, yeah, some containers that looked lootable. Consumables, salvage. Quick little scout. Oh, hold on. That was also very odd. I did not tell Ryder to exit that cover, but okay. And now I'm gonna overcompensate for having felt like I missed some stuff previously. Okay, cool that here. I mean, I'm not necessarily following the direction in which the objective is trying to point us all that closely, as much as I'm just trying to go to areas of the base that we've not yet been to. Assuming that there's generally going to be stuff in the places that we've not yet been to, which may or may not prove to be true. Like, this is where they were shooting from, or shooting at us previously when we were on our approach. So, okay, that was just Cora giving us a shield boost. Don't worry about that. Alright, I think we have pretty much cleared out this building. I mean, this had 2 of the devices, so I suppose there was a lot here. That doesn't sound good, though. And I'm not sure where that came from, exactly. Which does concern me a bit. But I assume we want to go down here. This is kind of where the objective is, but it is also kind of right out in the opening. Fortunately, these guys, despite being very big, are not actually that tanky. Hello. It would seem. That was a waste. Oh, hello. That's not really someone I wanted to see there. I just very briefly pressed the flamer button. And you can take full advantage of burning you. Okay. Yes, now we seem to have gotten their attention and they're approaching us much more aggressively. Obviously, being right out in the middle was not the most defensible of positions, which was one of the reasons why I was not thrilled about engaging at that point. So I think we are in a better spot now. That was good, I guess. I think I missed you. Oh, that's also a Kett. Oh, hello. Hello, there's a lot of them here, all of a sudden. Hello. Also hello. Alright, remember, we have cover penetration, which means we can basically shoot through thin barriers like that, although it would help if I stayed in cover myself. I don't think I killed it. Did I?
Shield boost enabled.
Okay, small experience gained there, which may or may not mean those were the last groups of enemies. I thought this one's... Is the red one there health? Yeah, the red one there is health. The ones that have the bars that we tend to see going down most often are the ones that have ammo, understandably. That's the thing that just about any time we walk past them we could use some of. Okay. So at least at the moment, not seeing any red dots. I'm sure
reading a temperature decrease.
There will still be more Kett enemies at some point.
This is a Kett defense matrix.
Oh.
Destroying it will disable all sentry turrets and unlock access to the secure storage structure.
That sounds like something we want to do.
The defense matrix can be shut down by identifying and destroying critical subsystems.
Oh.
Pathfinder, I recommend using your scanner to identify the critical systems. Be careful. Destruction of non-critical systems will create hazards.
Oh. Critical subsystem. This critical subsystem for the operation of the Kett defense matrix. Kett's redundant backup systems ensure that at least 3 subsystems must be disabled before the defense matrix can be shut down. Okay. Oh, we don't just shoot them, we actually flip the console. Okay, fair enough. Well, I mean, they do all seem to be right next to each other. You know, maybe I'm overanalyzing it, but it does seem a little odd that it's that simple, straightforward. I feel mildly insulted.
Life support at 100%.
So this should do the trick, theoretically?
The defense matrix has been destroyed. The secure storage structure is now unlocked.
All right. Let's see what the Kett were hoarding.
Alright, I assume this is now... that is basically unlocked that, the console, large console that we saw in this room over here that had the shields around it. I could be wrong about that, but I feel like that's where we ought to check. Oh, also hello. Floating stuff. Oh! Okay. Yeah, we'll take the ultra rare modification that just dropped off an enemy. Sure. Oh, there's actually more over here as well. Is that a platform is connected? Okay. Yeah, I mean, thus far, more Zulkans, yeah, as expected. Running into a lot of those. Thus far, the number of enemies that we've encountered does seem to be... I mean, maybe it's less than what we had on Eos, or at the very least, they're more spread out, so it's not as difficult to deal with them all. This is what I was referring to. Well, it looks like it's actually pointing us further back in the direction that we had come from. What was this? Ah, yeah, that door was locked previously. Did go outside that building, but the door was locked, so we could not enter it. So it does seem to be the update. I was gonna go on the top floor, but this works too, I guess. Guess it was on the bottom floor anyway. Oh!
Yeah, we're stocking up. I bet there's more in the room above.
Alright. I mean, I'm surprised that we got experiences from walking through the door, but sure. Salvage. More salvage. That is a console we definitely want to take a look at. Used to control various operations in the area. More salvage. Shotgun, or melee damage, but increased shotgun weight. Okay. You have a fairly full inventory at the moment, so I'm a little bit concerned about that. But, you know, we might just head back to the ship after finishing the base here, because there was some indication that maybe this is a little bit time sensitive, so we were hesitant to go back to the our Tempest. But once we've finished the base, then we could probably do that, even if the other thing I was thinking of that we might want to do soon would be checking out the area where we are expecting to be able to set up a settlement, because I think that our percentage viability on Voeld should be, I would think, more than high enough at this point to actually set that up, because we know where it is, but we've not actually gotten close enough, I think, to create it. So let's see. This is the big data that we were looking for, apparently. Record Angara first encounter. Sam has located logs associated with the start of the Kett invasion. Translated from the Kett language. Entry, whatever that is. Specialists identified an isolated station on a mineral-rich lunar world as initial target. Routine attack. Elements of surprise, no major threats. Majority were easily eliminated, providing genetic material for study. Live specimens were also acquired as a result of an unexpected surrender.
Logs on Angara first contact isolated pathfinder.
Wow. It sounds like some of the first Angara the Kett found were coerced into working with them. We should show this to Ari Vezjek.
I mean, that's not really the conclusion that I came to from reading that, but more sounds like they were either killed or some surrendered. Seems like kind of a leap to just assume that those who surrendered voluntarily assisted. Not sure I would go that far with that description, but okay, there is a second floor. Oh, look at this. Convenient little ramp as well. Don't even need to focus on the parkour. What the heck was that? Okay, point taken. There's stuff for us to scan. Please never do that again, though. Okay, encryption tech, networking device of uncertain purpose, but clearly reinforcing a Kett model of biomodularity is of immediate value, and the potential for research insight is profound. More Zulkans. Yeah, those are going to fill our inventory. I mean, I suppose, like, we could just disassemble the Zulkans and what have you here, right? We don't actually need to be on our ship or in a town or anything like that, even though that's generally when we're doing those types of things. Get fusion armor. Weapon damage, combat power damage, +1 to power cells. Yeah, I'm just not sure that's something that we're going to be focusing that much on, at least not in the, certainly not in the near term. That's perhaps something else we'd like to, yep, salvage soon. Let's see, that is hiding. But I found you. Clip size for assault rifles, a little bit of weight, and some cases might be useful, but whoa. Probably not going to be a huge priority. This is a very large container. And it is very bad, what it contains. I am extremely disappointed. My day is ruined. Okay, that seems to be all there.
Temperature decrease.
In which case... Hold on. Other floor. That's not really helpful, though. Still not very helpful. Hold on. Zoom. Nope. Other floor. Zoom out. Because there was... Oh. Our active quest is going to be to take back that information to that other person, right? So that's why it's seemingly pointing us away from the Kett base. If we do this. I don't even know what that's... Where that is. Is that at the town that we recently discovered on Voeld? It is, isn't it? Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, I think what we'd like to do in that case is instead make sure that we have activated that. Okay. So yeah, I imagine we're messing with the generators, and then that's going to allow us to enter the main component of the base, and we're not technically in that area yet. At least that's what happened
Environmental temperatures
last
are
time.
within acceptable limits.
Just want to check around here a little bit more. Obviously, we are not currently in a safe space from a life support standpoint, but since we didn't walk down here before, I want to make sure we aren't missing out on any loots.
Get ready to fight!
Oh. That we shall. Again, the grabs. I wish, man. I wish. Thought I saw someone over here. I thought I did. It's probably you. Oh, I did. That was supposed to be a cloak, but we didn't even have cloak back, so... Oh well, fair enough. More Kett gear. So that's the spot that we want to go to. Not seeing them show up as red dots on the map, although there's clearly more Kett here. Also, a lot more loot. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, I just walked by a bunch of these things. You can't tell me that they disappeared in such a short amount of time. Is there any, it looked like there were some devices here. Some of which, I mean, usually the containers that you can loot glow a little bit. And these are kind of glowing, which made me think that we might have been able to loot them, but perhaps not. Okay, so let's just head over here. So we might now be able to get you. Not seeing any additional enemigos.
2 generators down, 1 to go.
Oh, we did also level up. So we should probably spend some points here. I don't remember what it was we were focusing on most recently, but we could now get next level of this. Oh, I remember we were at least talking about this. I'm still not sure. I thought the tech effect duration, doesn't the most of the Angaran armor buff this? In which case, we might be able to scale this relatively well if we have a bunch of high-level Angara armor, which we may look to do somewhat soon. I mean, this is probably most helpful for Cloak, but to a certain extent with Flamer as well. The area of effect, mostly Flamer. A little bit harder to scale this in all likelihood, or probably significantly harder to scale this. but a little bit. I mean, I would say probably more of a direct impact on our damage because of longer flamer. More of a direct impact on general utility, maneuverability around the battlefield, and doing things like scanning devices when we are actively being attacked by Kett, which is what happened at least in the previous Kett base, so that might have been useful if that was something we still needed to do here, but for the most part, that has not been an issue in this case. I think we started to talk a little bit about biotics and how, at least for the next build, I was planning to invest a bit in Annihilation. Obviously, we have a ways to go before we have any sort of significant biotic powers or, you know, like the passives are not going to be any good at this stage, but yeah, Annihilation was basically something that I was planning for the future, but do we still have additional tech stuff we want to do right now? I'm just not sure. I've not made up my mind for this yet, so I might hold off for the time being. In which case, Overload was something we talked about for a little bit as a potential energy drain replacement, a little bit more offensive, a little bit more in the way of chaining for additional combos. But because it takes some time to charge up to get the full effectiveness, maybe a little bit more dangerous to use and doesn't have the shield leech that energy drain does, so for all those reasons, you could make the case that it's not as good as energy drain, or at least, although it serves a similar purpose from a combo detonation standpoint, it does have some differences, some distinctions. So this might just be more or less to further increase the total number of tech skill points that we've invested in this tree, so that we power up our various passives further, because we have invested a lot in these already, even if we haven't fully spec'd into this just yet. But maybe that means it is time to at least start going a little bit further on the biotic side of things. We also, I think, started to look a little bit into the combat stuff, because it does feel like our weapon damage has started to trail off a fair bit, and investing further in this could certainly help in that regard. But it's not like these are giving us the types of damage boosts that I'd be looking for. I think for the most part, it is weapon-specific, weapon-type specific. Pistols, assault rifles, shotguns, snipers. And although I was kind of assuming that because we were focusing mostly on powers that we were going to use mostly pistols, we have enough weapon weight carrying capacity that we might be able to get a little more ambitious there. So I'm not certain which one of these we'd want to prioritize for the time being. So that also is making me hesitate a bit there. So I think we might just go, for the sake of having some certainty, let's just invest more in this. And we cannot afford the next rank anyway, so okay. That's fine. I have curiosity. A little bit of biotic, like the passives. Obviously, the numbers are going to be quite low at this stage, but are there any that are at least worth throwing on for the time being? Or at least soon. You know, if there's like a... Like, the biotic power damage doesn't matter if we're not using biotics at all at this point, but if there's something like, you know, a little bit of shields, like this, then you can throw this on, then why not? But we don't have enough points invested in biotics yet to do that, so I guess we'll hold off. And we've now unlocked the Adept profile, so that is the biotic-centric profile from the previous Mass Effect games, not surprisingly, since we did, of course, just invest more points in biotics. So, yeah, but pretty much all those effects are specific to biotics, so it's not very helpful for us right now. I think we'll stick on Engineer. There's still a case to be made for the Sentinel, I think, for the recharge speed we do not get from Engineer, right? Yeah, so... Alright, we'll stick with Engineer just because it's so much higher level than Sentinel, but long-term I still think Sentinel is probably what we'd like to do. We also do not invest for Cora or PB. Is, let's see, enough for us to go here. Melee damage, blast, weaken... A blast from what? Oh, no. Blast weaker enemies back. Your melee does? Yeah, empowers some melee attacks. Okay, so some crowd control there, which is... I have no idea how reliable that really is. Versus... higher damage, and force, for what it's worth, is usually the thing that determines whether you're staggering or knocking someone down altogether. So basically, more force, more damage. I think we might go for the force, to be honest. I mean, 15%, yeah, that's somewhat significant, losing that much damage, but again, I'm just not really sure. I don't really think that her melee damage is going to be a deciding factor in most cases. I could definitely be very wrong about that, but you know, when we're overwhelmed by a whole bunch of enemies, getting some crowd control from a lucky stagger might be a bigger deal. PB. Still gonna ignore pull, which means we cannot afford anything. Okay. Fair enough. Alright, so I'm not sure what the deal is there.
Disabling the alarm will call off reinforcements.
Okay, that's what I was expecting to have happen at some point in time. Thing was, last
I'm
time,
reading a temperature decrease.
the alarm was not clear where it
Life
was.
support restored.
Is this the alarm, or is this the last...
All generators have been disabled. I have marked the coordinates of the security terminal.
Okay.
Destroy it to unlock access to the Kett Tower.
Okay, yes, but where is the alarm? Because last time at the previous Kett base, we went a very long time without finding the alarm, or at least we walked right past it. I think on at least one occasion, which made the encounter go much longer than it had to go. I also just don't hear it. Which might mean that we are nowhere near it. Probably shouldn't be looting right now. Should probably be focusing on getting to that alarm as quickly as possible.
I'm detecting below normal temperatures.
I don't think it's where this icon is directing us. Wait, hold on. Does it say? Which one is which? Security terminal? I think that's the device that was shielded previously that I was going back to repeatedly. So yes, on one hand, we do want to go there, but where the heck is this alarm? Because, yeah, that was the other thing, was last time at the previous Kett base, there were a bunch of icons for the objectives to deactivate the shields, which is sort of the equivalent of the generators in this case, but no indicators for where the alarms were. So I kind of just assumed that by going to the things that were marked on the map that we were going to eventually turn off the alarm, but
I'm reading a normal temperature range,
I
pathfinder.
have no idea where they are. Or if there's more than one, or if there's just one specific spot. Like, this is where the quest item is. Quest spot. So we can certainly do this. Oh!
Security terminal has been destroyed.
Yeah, you can say that. Okay, again, I have no idea where this alarm is. Like, I have not heard it. I've not seen it.
The temperature is falling,
Well,
pathfinder.
that's not ideal. That's not ideal.
Ambient temperature is normal.
Quick and clean.
It did give us a chunk of experience, which usually means that's the last enemy. Did it just, like, automatically... Did Sam just automatically tell us that the alarm was on? Because that's what he's supposed to do in that situation, but in truth, we'd already deactivated it proactively. So that's why I don't hear it, and that's why, despite not having thought that I deactivated an alarm, we still got a message, or we still got a chunk of experience that suggested that that was the final enemy. Not really sure we spent much time over here. So I don't know if I still need to be trying to seek out an alarm.
I'm
Right.
reading a temperature decrease.
Seems fine.
Environmental temperatures are within acceptable limits.
Okay, I think we just proceed. Okay, that was the last generator. I think we just proceed here. And carry on. There will, of course, still be more enemies further in. That means that basically... not explode with a combo. It was supposed to explode with the combo.
Vulnerable. Hit him now.
Basically, this is sort of the interior of the base, whereas previously we were on the exterior. So, Should still be more Kett. But we should be getting a little bit closer now. Yeah, but it's probably going to take us down into the depths of the actual interior of the base. Is there anything hiding out here? That would be devious.
I'm detecting below normal temperatures.
But I'd argue you should put something out here. Oh, well, there's enemies. There's that. That's what I was looking for. Okay, I have more experience because we fought those enemies, so I guess at the very least, a little bit of a reward in that way.
Environmental temperatures are
I
within
think we were here
acceptable
previously.
limits. Life support is back online.
Okay. Alright, so this should basically send us down. Is there anything... any loot hiding in the corner here? Don't think so. Okay. We can't save? I thought I saw... yeah, unfortunate. Unfortunate and silly, but we'll head down. So yeah, this is... how's it going there, Cora? It's okay, gravity doesn't affect you, that's cool. Yes, this is where we should find more Kett.
There.
And...
Let's hope that stops them.
okay, not really. I mean, we opened this door, but I don't really think we did much beyond that. But yeah, I would expect that we'll find another one of those Kett leader dudes down here somewhere.
Got Kett.
Yeah, it does seem as though cover in general is more destructible than I had realized, which is cool. But yeah, we saw that once play a big factor in one of the vaults. When one of the strongest remnant enemy we've seen to date destroyed cover very regularly at that. Made it much more difficult. What is this? Have we seen this before? It's a sniper. Okay, that's actually decent. Loot stuffs, crafting materials. I'm wondering if we can use
More Kett.
when and where our drone spawns as also a bit of a indicator of when and where to expect enemies showing up. Okay, that was really,
Shield boost enabled.
really weird the way that I was kind of trying to aim at one of those enemies down there, and then the auto aim kicked in and was really trying to force me to target the other Kett. Which, because the auto aim was trying to force me in one direction, I was trying to go the other direction, meant that I pretty much hit neither of those things. But okay, there's, speaking of destroying barriers and cover. See that here? Don't know. That's much thicker than what we were shooting at before. There's another enemy around the corner to the right.
All shield.
There you are.
Need a little of this.
Alright. Not bad. Nothing too bad just yet. Now, obviously, we're a higher level now than we were previously against the Kett at the EO space, but thus far has, these are perhaps famous last words, this has felt easier. But this might be approaching the area now where we'd expect to see a rather big mini-boss Ketts of sorts. So yeah, I think that last time it looked pretty similar to this. There was sort of this ante-room of sorts, and then there was the bigger room with a couple of doors that opened up to where the objective was. When we opened up these doors, all the enemies poured through. We actually fought all the enemies, including the mini-boss, in the ante-room of sorts, so might try that here as well.
It appears each of the hangar platforms has an automated fueling system.
Oh,
You can access the controls. I can overload the system.
don't remember that being a thing. Hello. I did not see those guys.
Time to
That was apparently a tech combo that I did not deliberately go after in that case. I think one of our squad mates primed it. It's mostly just an energy drain for the sake of hitting that guy. Oh, that, speaking of energy drain, I meant to cloak there. I like how Cora, our squad mate with a shotgun, is the one who is most aggressively trying to hit our enemies from across the map. Let's see the red dot. Oh, there you are. Okay. I'm gonna.
Cora's injured!
Oh, that's not good. Must be a lot more enemies showing up over here then. Really, for one dude?
Between the eyes.
One dude is causing you problems? I was gonna say, perhaps we just focus on taking out the enemies for the most part, and then we scrounge around afterward for any loot and what have you, but perhaps not. Because that's straightforward enough to pick up there. Just gonna go for this one first. Okay. Damn, didn't see it. Enemies.
Pathfinder,
Oh.
I have located several override terminals in the vicinity.
Don't be, yeah, those shotgun people have cloaks. They had that smoky stuff as well, which I was suspicious. They were somewhere in that smoke cloud.
We've got Kett.
Okay, so I will admit, since we did start getting hit right as Sam was giving us the explanation as to how we need to do other things before we can do the thing that I tried to do, I didn't get all of it. But I assume, basically, that we just activate the bazillion things that we now have icons for. That was not cool, dude. I did not appreciate the way that you ran away as soon as I started flaming you, and you came back up as soon as I stopped. I found that rather inconvenient. Is this also one of them? Did we already get this one, perhaps? Because this is right where we came in? I don't remember. There actually aren't many over here. Hey, guys. Guess we really need the... Ow. Really need the... What is this?
On the move.
Okay, no, I didn't really mean to do that, to direct you over there, but just more wondering why that thing had a weird smoke cloud around it. Oh, thanks. Really, it's a team effort. Okay. So that might be most of the enemies. He says as he very clearly hears more enemies. Pretty sure there was a wraith over there. Yeah, I can see it. It's over there. I can sort of see it, but now I've lost it. There it is! Hello!
Dust.
Okay, so now we can do this? We can definitely do that. Okay. I don't know if... Okay, I did see that for the last second, but I don't know if it's supposed to do all the flashy stuff like that. I feel like that's a visual, graphical bug of some variety, but I can't really say that definitively. Because that doesn't feel like that feels like that. Shouldn't be a thing. The way that it's doing all that. More enemies over here, and where our actual object? Ow. Ow. Thank you, Cora. That was very good timing. There's one over here, and there's one down below. Okay, so is this the one that we tried to do previously? That we just weren't able to... Oh, somebody went down. That's not good. One moment. Priorities. Gotta get my renderable plates. Okay, this is unfortunate, but see, like this. That can't be right. That can't be a thing that is supposed to happen. Alright, so it's Cora who's down. There's another one of you shotgun people. Just trying to get Cloak back and then actually pull off our combo. Hello. And obviously, yeah, this is... I'm sorry? It hurts my eyes. I'm sure it hurts your eyes as well. I'm hoping there's just kind of a weird glitchy thing that is happening in this one specific area, and once we get through here, it'll go away. Now we can do this one. Oh, hello. That's why we cloaked before we did it. Try to get Cora on our way over here. Yeah, what the... oh my god. Every time we look outside in that direction, pretty much. It is... oh my god. Okay. It's like... I mean, I can suffer through it, but it is, like, serious epilepsy warning here. I mean, even I can barely... wow, that is bad. Okay, what is left? Down below... I'm deliberately kind of trying to avoid down here. So this is, one would assume, much easier place for our enemies to overwhelm us. That's the last of those spots.
Pathfinder, the controls to shut down the Kett base are located at the top of the tower, in zenith observation.
Yep, there's the
There is
mini-boss.
an elevator access nearby that you can take.
Is that gonna hit? That is gonna hit us. Oh no, not quite. Okay, really, really wish we could at least fight this boss in a different area. Oh, someone just went down. One of our squad mates, Cora did. I just don't want to fight you here where the visual glitchy bug, that's potentially useful. That could be as well. Where the visual glitchy bug thing is happening regularly. Oh, hello. Apparently we leveled in the middle of the fight, which is a little bit weird, but seeing as how this is a boss fight, perhaps it's not a terrible thing to invest those points now. Granted, we were just saying that we don't have anything in the immediate future that is super useful, at least in Ryder's case. Let's see. I had this written down, which ones I wanted for this one. I believe, I'm pretty sure, I thought the radius was going to be, yeah, radius is definitely going to be the go-to, because it is 3.5 meters, unless you do this. Yeah, I think we take this. And I just want to check. Does that mean that now we can do... just want to do one that gives us shields. Barrier, which in previous Mass Effect games did exist, but it was, in Mass Effect 1, very much an active skill with a duration. In Mass Effect 3 was a skill that you activated manually once, and then it stayed on, so it's kind of a sort of passive skill in a way, kind of, sort of. In this case, I think it is purely a passive skill. So, you know, it's 4% shields. Obviously, that's not a huge deal. But the thing is that at the moment, we're not really using any biotic abilities. So, both of these do at least have a very small effect on us, but that is more than you could say about any of the other stuff that we picked up thus far. So, might as well invest in those. And okay, that's definitely nice. Upgrading Sentinel, as I've said on a few occasions before, I do think that is long-term gonna be what we want to go for. It's just that Engineer is a higher rank, so we're kind of going that route, at least temporarily for that reason, whereas now, this is 15% less combo damage, but the 15% tech recharge speed is sort of the key difference maker there. So do you sacrifice 15% damage for 15% recharge speed? Debatable. Debatable. I guess we'll stick with Engineer for the time being, but... oh, also, we can potentially upgrade you two. Although, if we're not investing anything in pull, it's gonna be pretty hard to upgrade PB's abilities in the very near future, because I assume we still cannot, yeah, do any of her rank 6 stuff. Didn't we pick up one of those items for her on Voeld, the remnant tech that she wanted? I mean, that was a relatively quick thing as it turned out, once we tracked it down. But, yeah, it's still saying that seemingly for everything, we still need to complete a personal mission for PB, so that did not qualify. I was kind of hoping that it would have, but... power, area of effect, radius, power, force, or weapon stuff. So obviously PB is the biotic squad mate, or the most biotic squad mate. Cora is as well, to a certain extent. But, as we've said before, squad mates have such long recharge times on all of their abilities that it does still kind of feel like a bit of a waste when you invest in power-based stuff for squad mates, because this is up all the time. This very much is not. So, as tempting as this might seem, what does she have that is useful with radius? I guess shock. Does Shockwave even have a radius? It doesn't say here, but I think it might. Distance. I think the big one is potentially... What does invasion? Invasion has an AoE, right? Does it? Was it just a single target ability? Ah, it does, at least once you take this. At least once you take this. But, I mean, 6 meters is already pretty huge. So obviously if you scale that by percentage, it's going to become very huge, but I just don't think that's reason enough to be prioritizing that, especially when it's mostly a debuff ability and less so for the damage. It's not of critical importance, so to be prioritizing that feels a little bit silly. I think we probably take the duelist weapons damage. Let's just double check what we can do here. Recharge speed or maximum distance. I think we go for the passive. It is up all the time, which is, I think, ultimately what you need to do for squad mates more often than not. Cora, hey, by any chance you have defensive stuff, because you keep on dying. Bonus damage against armor across the board with all of her abilities, and then shotgun damage, shotgun force. I mean, it's basically the same question we were just asking ourselves with PB, I think. The answer's still the same. Oh, except you do not have enough points to actually invest in that, so never mind. Okay, so I don't love that Cora is down, obviously. Also, I don't love that the mini-boss is right next to us. I believe what we're gonna find... try to get Cora. Naturally, the mini-boss is camping Cora's body. Yes, I know you're there. I really love if it would cloak when I press the cloak button. I think what we saw in the past was that in some cases, the big ability the mini-boss has can actually go through cover. Light cover, at least. Which makes me a little bit nervous when they get kind of close to me. Okay, so what do we... Oh, not this. So this is why I didn't want to have this fight out here in the first place. Ow. Ow. Well, found you again. Problem is, we are on cooldown. Can't do much in the way of damage here. So the timing is always tough with these guys. That's why I think we found in the past it was rather difficult to do much damage once their shields went down, and that functionally made them very tanky. Oh, but you just ran away. Rude. Okay, right now. Oh, okay, so nervous that that's gonna go through walls, but. Where'd you go? Oh, right next to me is the answer. Okay, can we at least prime you so we can do a fire explosion on you rather than your shield thing? I also don't want to accidentally walk straight into that right as you're powering up the big combo move. But yeah, like, are we just supposed to kill you? And that's bait. I was stuck in a corner and could not escape that. Do we basically just need to kill you, and once we do that, we can proceed? Because you are dead now.
We're in the clear.
Apparently. So it seemed like we had gotten rid of all the other objectives. Well, there's something over there. Let's see. Ooh. That's a ultra rare sniper, which is a little bit unfortunate because not the biggest fan of those. I mean, not the biggest fan of sniper rifles when it comes to multiplayer. Although, for what it's worth, I think I'm perhaps a little more open to that idea in single player. We are just, if there is anything over there in that area, we are going to ignore it. I'm sorry. Okay, that's the way out. Those are the elevator controls. Okay. Can we at least take a little bit of time to see? I'm gonna try to face away from the exterior to avoid the graphical glitch thing to the extent possible. Let's see if there's any other loot stuff now that everyone is dead. I don't look over there though. But I kind of need to. Okay, just walk this way. Walk in blind, pretty much. Always look this way. Broke this stuff. Okay, that's still... Nope. No thank you. No thank you. I mean, I'm kind of curious, because it is very much that specific area. Kind of curious if this has happened for other people in this specific area as well. So it feels like it is a very acute problem, if you will. Yeah, we came in this way, didn't we? I was kind of just expecting we were going to backtrack the way we came from, but apparently not. I do vaguely remember that last time we went through the Kett base on EOS that we did have to retrace all of our steps, so I guess this is more convenient. What's up, Banana? How's it going? We appear to have just finished the Kett base, or more or less just finished the Kett base on Voeld. Okay. Are there still enemies here? There's still loot here. This might be an area that we technically were not in before. I think we... Oh, no, this is shotgun. Yeah, I've recognized the name. We've definitely seen that before. So yeah, how difficult was that mini-boss there? That time around, because that was the third time we fought one of those guys. I mean, they're definitely significantly more difficult than the usual enemies. But we're starting to get more the hang of them, it feels like.
That's a view.
I guess you could say that. I mean, I feel like this is going to glitch out when I do this once again, but no, okay. I'll give you that. That is a very nice view. It's a very nice view. Yeah, the trickier thing in this case was just that we had very limited mobility because if I didn't watch my positioning, we were going to have zero visibility. Which is obviously not an intended game mechanic, but it's a little monkey wrench that got thrown in this time around, which made it a little bit harder
Disabled, Pathfinder.
to compare it to the other Kett base. 10% viability. I did not remember how much we got last time we completed the Kett base on EOS, which, again, obviously we're making a lot of comparisons there because it's the most similar mission we've done to the one we just did here. But 10% is not bad, and 85% here, I would feel like, since we're certainly high enough up now that we could establish the outpost here, and after doing that, I have to imagine we'd be at 100%. Also, how the heck do we get out of here? It's like there is the elevator. Now we go back through the elevator and backtrack through the rest of the base to leave? I thought this was just gonna be our way out of the base entirely, but perhaps not. Oh no, not this again. Not this again. Oh, are you making me go specifically to the area where it's doing all... Oh no. Maybe once we're outside in its entirety? Is everything good now? I think so, for the most part. Initially, when I saw you out of the corner of my eye, I thought you were going to be another Kett enemy, and I was like, no, please, not another fight out here. We have completed the vault. We recently completed the vault. That's where we got a bunch of the viability for Voeld, and I mean, we also just did a bunch of other side quests here in general. So that's how we got really high up on the viability. Obviously, after doing this, we're up to 85%, but we do not yet have the settlement here. We know where the location is, but we've not actually gone to that location to create the settlement itself. So that's kind of the next thing on our radar, I would think. And that's why I assume we probably get, if not to 100%, pretty darn close once we do that.
We tried to take down this place for months, and you made it look so easy.
Well,
Destroying their command structure and systems leaves the rest of the Kett vulnerable. Remember Jarnik? The shield around it's come down.
The frozen city?
That's the one. This is the perfect opportunity for a final push, while they're still dealing with the chaos.
oh. Yeah, are you about, if we do this, is this gonna take us there immediately? So I hope not, because as I was just saying, kind of want to go check out the settlement area next, and I mean, certainly we'll look to do that soon, but it's not really what I was planning for the immediate future.
Tell me about this ancient city.
They say it was abandoned when the Scourge hit. The cold came and it was trapped in ice. The Kett learned we were investigating and took it. They think they can plunder it for remnant secrets. Let's hope they haven't completely destroyed everything.
Yeah, because obviously this very much is a significant place that we would want to visit at some point.
I'll deal with it.
In the meantime, I'll see if there's anything I can find here. Be careful, Ryder.
Nice. Okay, so as long as you don't, like, fast travel me over there. Oh, also, we are not safe right now from a life support standpoint. Okay, so I don't think there are going to be... I really thought I was about to dash off the side of the mountain right there. I don't think there are any additional enemies here. Investigate the ice cave. Let's zoom out a little bit. I think it's this. Oh, yeah, we saw the cave entrance, but we couldn't get to it because it was next to the shielded area, and it probably was in the shielded area. But it looks like might have even more stuff here than we did previously. There's the outpost site. So yeah, that's the thing that I'd like to do, although we did already do all the stuff for this quest, because it was also tied to the base. The Kett base, that is. And we obviously just finished the Kett base. So I think it probably makes sense to fast travel here, turn in this quest, and then head over to the settlement area. Yes, so we saved the Moshai a while ago. We did save the Moshai a while ago. But then we didn't do much else on Voeld at the time, because with all the hazards there, it felt like it wasn't the best time to explore it, and then I kind of assumed that the game was going to give us a main quest mission to go back to Voeld and go into the vault, then became clear as time went on that was not going to be the case. It was just going to be up to us to go out and do it on our own accord. So we did do that recently, very recently, and then we just, after that, immediately thereafter, went to do the Kett base. But now, just picking up the rest of the pieces here. I think we fast travel here to turn in the quest. Because, yeah, Voeld was basically just lagging behind the other planets.
That's according to my map.
Lagging behind the other planets when it came to its viability, so it felt like we were missing something big, and the vault was obviously the big thing, at least from a viability standpoint, but general exploration and what have you as well, to a certain extent. Alright, so this is our guy.
I've entered the destruction of the Kett on Voeld into my records, so we remember. But did you find anything of note in the Kett databases? Anything about the start of their invasion?
This might be of interest.
This can't be right. It says some Angara volunteered information to the Kett. Is this how they found out about our abilities? Could this be why they exalt us?
That's really awkward to say.
The Kett would have discovered your people's bioelectric capabilities another way.
They were studying our genetics. It would be impossible to hide. Those first Angara we lost. We thought they'd all been killed. I can't include this in our history, Ryder. We can't be remembered like this. The conflict with the Kett will continue for years. We need hope, not crushing truths.
Oh, I don't know if there's actually any implications to picking one way or the other, because that is an interesting thought. You know, you can tell the truth, but the truth is a hard pill to swallow, or you can sugarcoat it and technically tell a lie and make it seem like the Angara never assisted the Kett, because if people found that out, then that would be pretty unsettling, you would think. So maybe we do go with hope, but I'm not sure if there's actually any long-term implications
I agree.
to what we
Even
pick
if
there.
this is the truth, spreading it won't do much good.
I will save this data. Perhaps one day we can offer this perspective.
Yeah, maybe later.
Right now, my people can't know that some of us gave in. They need to believe we fought. Thank you, Ryder. I will never forget your service to the Angara.
Nice. A lot of experience as well. Yeah, so obviously EOS, we did the vault there, but I thought that was the vault on Havarl also part of the main quest? I mean, it felt really significant at the time.
Teams together for cleanup. Now that the prefect's gone, they'll be disorganized.
Good to hear. Keep me updated.
Thanks for all your work. Couldn't have done it without you.
Yeah, so I don't remember if the Havarl one was technically a main quest mission, but at the time it certainly felt like it, just because it was very clear that it was very important. Whereas there was just no mention at all of any of the vaults, or any of the things that we had to set up to enter the vaults on Voeld, so it just felt odd that it was just... We assumed that it existed, in theory, and if we looked on our map, I think we might have been able to find this stuff, but it just never got mentioned. So it's like, I kind of assumed that somebody was going to bring it up at some point, and it never happened, so I was like, okay, I mean, I guess at this point we just take matters into our own hands. Can we talk to you? Because I thought that... Okay, no. For a second, after finishing the Kett base, there might have been additional missions for us to initiate here, but perhaps not. This is merchant, right? Yeah. Well, we have a bunch of items, so we really should either sell or break down some of them, but it still feels like we're at the point where perhaps breaking down is preferable. We have multiple sidewinders, so like basically this. And although you're an ultra rare, still feels like, you know, you are lower level, perhaps this is still not the best fit for us. So this has a mod in it right now. If we do this, we get the mod back. Pistol barrel, I'm pretty sure is decent. Can completely skip Havarl? Wow. That's interesting. But I think it's really cool. It might be my favorite planet that we've seen thus far. So I'm glad that we did do a rather thorough exploration of the area when we went to Havarl, and that is up at 100% viability now. Okay, we picked up a bazillion Zulkans. And by bazillion, I mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A bazillion, in other words. So I think this is still going to be the most efficient way for us to be dealing with these things for now. Obviously, we could sell them, but you know, maybe that's something that is better done a little bit later on. Thematic, I was wholly unimpressed with. Cyclone is a new weapon that I'm not sure we've tried yet, so I'm a little intrigued for that reason. I think we did try the Thokin previously, and I didn't love it. I actually did like the Zulkan, but Sandstorm feels pretty similar to it. I honestly did not even remember that we were using a Sandstorm. We have modded this. We'll probably just stick with that for the time being. Not sure if we have. Not sure if we have. That doesn't sound familiar, so I'm gonna say the answer to that is no. Plenty of these Hesh weapons. Oh. Alright, maybe we hold on to the Rieger. Maybe we hold on to the Rieger for the time being, because that is a very strong weapon, although it is a very controversial one because of how strong it is. Might hold on to this just because it's an ultra rare, but dump the other ones. As I've said many times before, I'm not a huge fan of sniper rifles in general, although I am hesitant to dismiss them altogether. I feel like, you know, we ought to at least test some of them out to see what the experience is like in Andromeda. Although I am currently playing on controller, so it's not the best for going on sniper rifle precision runs. Okay, the mods... Thought we determined that they either give stuff when we deconstruct them, or they give us money when we sell them, but only one of those two things. So let's just double check. Scope for accuracy. This just destroys it. Okay, so I think... But it doesn't say we get anything in return, so I think you have to sell the mods to get anything out of that, it seems. So that means we've, in that case, deconstructed all the weapon stuff we want to deconstruct. And as I said, I think for the most part, we are most interested in the Angara stuff. It's level 3, and for the most part, we're finding level 4 stuff right now. I think we can still craft Angaran armor, and if we do that, then we can obviously put mods in it. So I think we'll probably, for the most part, just still be looking to deconstruct stuff here. Really? But just because there's so few close-range battles? Because, yeah, that is the thing about the Ryder, at least in the... I guess it's only in Mass Effect 3 for the previous games. But, very limited range, but it's just so strong that it is very powerful. Like, absolutely busted powerful. Okay, once again, eventually we'll probably want that Angar and stuff, but for now, I think we're fine. Just getting more room in our inventory. Same here, even if that is level 4. Obviously, the longer we wait, the higher level stuff we can find / craft, so there's also that we need to balance out to a certain extent. But it just feels like we have so much stuff in our inventory right now that I'm feeling like we ought to be rather aggressive here. And now maybe we do sell some of our lower quality mods as well. Yeah, so I mean, on one hand, I could kind of imagine that the Ryder just, in terms of power, got much weaker because it's kind of a way of compensating for, okay, yeah, we get it, this weapon was ridiculously strong in the previous Mass Effect games, so we're going to make a point of making it much weaker this time around so that it isn't constantly the go-to weapon for everybody. Here it is. But if it's just because it might still be strong, but it's because of its limited range, if that's the big issue, then I can understand why that'd be still a little bit tricky to benefit from it all that much. Okay, so what I'm really looking for are these things. I do like generic damage and accuracy, because so much stuff has a downside. Like, that's where it's selling. 1% extra pistol damage. You know, it's not really even noticeable, so why bother with the reduced clip size? Accuracy, but reduced rate of fire. Like, again, for most of these, I think I prefer just to not have the downside. Sure, there'll be some exceptions, but like this one, that's a pretty steep penalty. Penetration is not like that one, I might be willing to deal with, because the penetration is really important. And yeah, I mean, the weak point damage would be nice, but it's not a huge number there. The weights, I mean, pistols are usually quite light, so maybe that's not a huge concern either, but sure, we'll sell it. Okay, because yeah, I am just trying to dump a bunch of items, basically, because it feels like we are, if not near running out of inventory space, it is always at the very least a concern. Piranha is even more OP than it is in ME3, though. Oh, man. Yeah, so I don't think we've really talked about this much, but I knew going into Mass Effect Andromeda that there was going to be a lot of differences with the skills. Because that was sort of a key marketing point, and I remember getting all excited about that as the game was getting prepared to launch. Because I was very much following it at the time. All the updates and what have you. But I really did not know much of anything about differences for weapons or weapon mods and what have you, so that's really just a totally... I mean, new is maybe not the right word, because obviously weapon mods exist in Mass Effect 3, but it was not something that I was really anticipating or planning around much at all when I started Andromeda, whereas I came in with a plan for, you know, these are the types of skills I want to experiment with in Andromeda. I did not come in with a plan for weapons and what have you, so I am curious to get a little bit more experimental with that. And especially because I think after doing all of this stuff where we're deconstructing things pretty aggressively, I imagine that we'll have a lot of resources, so we might be able to be pretty aggressive with that experimentation at some point in time. Yeah, we should probably just get rid of a bunch of this stuff. Like there's no downside with the stabilities, just stick with that. Do we have anything that gives damage, though? Like, if we don't have anything else that gives damage, that is obviously pretty important. Okay, this we're getting rid of. Maybe we stick with you. So yeah, I am curious to experiment a fair bit more with weapons. We've not really done much of that at all thus far. We've done a tiny bit of crafting with those things, but that is, of course, something that you could go into a lot of depth into. But, I did not really plan, like, this is what I like. Straightforward shotgun damage, no downsides. Straightforward shotgun penetration, no downsides. Those are the mods, those the bonuses you want, and no other issues to concern yourself with there. Unlike this, where the accuracy is pretty important for shotguns. More often than not. The one concern, if you want to call it that, the caveat, maybe, for the weapon experimentation is that, as anyone who has seen our Witcher 3 playthrough can attest to, I'm, a little extreme. Little is perhaps a bit of an understatement there, when it comes to the extent to which I save up resources and hoard them and what have you. I tend to, basically, my general approach is to save up all of our money and crafting materials and what have you until more or less the very end of the game, or at least until we can confirm that we can craft the absolute best weapons and armor and what have you in the entire game. And anything before that, generally I'm like, oh, nope, it's a waste, because ultimately this is just a temporary thing that I'm creating that will be replaced by the perfectly crafted endgame weapon that I eventually want to build towards, and by committing resources and credits earlier, I am basically just delaying getting to that final weapon, or armor, or what have you. So I say this because I say that I'm interested in experimenting with crafting weapons and armor and what have you, but I am acknowledging the fact that that may take a long time before we end up doing that, because it is my natural inclination to wait a very long time before doing those types of things in most games, because I want to make sure that when we are crafting something, that something that we craft is basically the best possible thing that we can craft. And usually anything that is not the best possible thing in the game, or close to it, I just say is not worth it. Or at least that's what I'm thinking. Which is why it might be a while until we actually do some of that stuff. But I'll try to make a bit more of a conscious effort to experiment more. I mean, obviously we can't really do much at the moment, but you know, it's just there's always that thought of like, well, I mean, yes, we could craft right now, but if we wait a little bit, we're gonna get a higher level, you know, and then we can create higher level weapons, and they're just objectively better than the lower level weapons, so it's kind of a chicken and an egg problem. Yeah, exactly. It feels like, especially because I should note, as I think we'll see shortly, Although it has been a while since we last... Just mark this on the map and we can talk as we're going here. I would like to go... here. So, although we took a week off from the Andromeda stream as I lost my voice a bit and was covering a bit and still am. But, let's see, we want this mode, right? Probably. I was still using the Mass Effect Apex app for the strike teams, and that means that I basically had 2 weeks of time in which the only Andromeda stuff that I could do was messing with the strike teams. So, as we will soon see, we've got a lot of drops and a lot of high-level strike teams. So, we're gonna have a lot of those types of drops. Oh, speaking of drops, that is a drop of Kett people. We have fought them on this bridge before, but apparently they are back. In fact, they almost killed us on this bridge before, didn't they? Okay, granted, we can't really do much to them from here. In fact, I don't even think we have the range to hit them. Well, this is a one cold hazard as well. They apparently don't see me, even though I'm not cloaked, just because we're far enough away. I think when we first encountered them, it was before we activated the vaults. Now they see us. So, in that case... Goodbye. In that case, it was, we had very limited time here before we were gonna get killed by the environment. And we didn't have any good places nearby to restore our life support, so it was a very stressful trip around Voeld to try to find a forward station, and no enemies blocking said forward station because we could not afford to step out of the Nomad even for a brief moment to fight those guys, unless we found a spot where we could restore life support. But hey, that is one of the reasons why getting a settlement, for example, would be kind of nice. And granted, I probably should have done that. Also, this would help. Let's just use the bridge, look. We'll be fine. Okay, so it is over here in this general area. I mean, we could make a point of taking a pit stop in the mining area, but not really sure that's going to be a huge deal. We might end up driving past that on a future occasion anyway. Does seem as though there are probably additional Kett or possibly even Remnant over there as well, though.
Kett set up camp over there.
Yeah.
Let's check it out.
Maybe approach from this angle to give us some cover. Would be the best approach. What are they doing over there? It looks like they're... Oh, okay. Oh, for a second I thought that was one of the big beast dudes. The person who's trying to snipe us across the map with a shotgun. Don't ask me why I thought that, but... Ooh, they have more of the wraiths, I'm pretty sure. Yes, they do. Okay, that is PB, that is not a wraith. Though I still feel like I'm hearing another one. We have some cover penetration, not a lot. Not enough to just blatantly shoot through everything. Okay, there are too many enemies here to just recklessly plunge forward like that. For a second I thought we might have been able to do that, but still should thin the pack a little bit first. So like situations like this, not terrible to have a sniper in this situation. Is that a... I thought I was seeing a cloaked wraith there for a second, but maybe I mean, I definitely hear one. Am I crazy for thinking that I hear a wraith? I hear something that's making growling sounds. So I'm kind of just waiting for the wraiths to pop up right next to us. Oh, it's that thing. That's what's making it. Hello. That's what's making all the noise behind us. No, I am not going crazy, but it is not a Kett enemy. So yeah, like, this would be kind of nice to have a sniper rifle for this situation. That we should be. Oh, speaking of life support. Yeah, we are running very low on that right now. But I'm hoping this can fix that. Yes. Obviously, we leveled as well. Okay. Let's take a look. So, just double check the passives here. I mean, sure. Why not? Since we are basically just looking for passives. Oh, and plus 10 max shields. Hold on. Health shield regeneration delay reduction. Ooh, and shield regeneration. That is nice. Can we? Oh, we can afford it. Yeah. We might actually prefer this. I think we might actually prefer this. Because in general, the reducing the amount of time it takes for your shields to start regenerating is a pretty huge deal. 10% is, it's not an insignificant amount, but you know, once we start spending more points on biotic stuff, this should be more than 10. Obviously it isn't now, but if we go that route. Okay, so that way we're, even though we're not really using biotics yet, we're at least getting some benefit from the passives there. Then Korra, with 4, you can do Nova and only Nova. Damage and Force Me, it's not a bad thing, but we prefer... I mean, this is kind of a nice ability. Might be better to just save for this to get this soon. PB... No, thank you, I'm not taking pull. Did we get our life support back in its entirety? Also, hello? Yes, we did, by the looks of things. Oh, and I forgot to sell our salvage at the shopkeeper previously. Which I don't think actually counts toward our inventory capacity. I don't think those numbers have been going up when we... Ooh, we'll pick up... Oh, I thought that was a loot box, but it is an explosive container. A little bit different. Okay, I think we're good here then.
I'm detecting below normal temperatures.
Is the beastie dude, the beastie boy, still over here? Or is he left? Did he flee? He appears to have fled. He was just here to bother me as we were trying to take cover behind this thing, and that was it. Okay, so yeah, just turn right, basically. Oh. Well. I mean... Pretty sure that means more Kett. I would have thought. That looks like a cave of some variety over there. There don't appear to be enemies at the moment, which is a little confusing. Like, what's the deal here? You would expect there to be something. Okay, apparently there's iridium in the ice. All I saw was the ice, but sure. That just seems strange. Let's see if there's any passive research to be had, but otherwise, I think we just head back to Nomad. I mean, that does certainly make you wonder if there's going to be something over there in the future. Yes, we're going past a mineral-rich area.
This area can be mined for resources. You can extract minerals via your mining interface.
Really? Alright, well, there are the Kett. That's where they went. Just hadn't figured the spawn. That does feel a little bit silly. Did not really restore our life support for what it's worth, but it seems like there might only be one more enemy who is hiding. we made him go boom. So much so that his loot remains popped up over there. Are these even? Yeah, that is life support. Okay.
I'm reading a normal temperature range, Pathfinder.
I'm not sure that I saw
Life support restored.
an experience number pop up at the bottom left corner of the screen, which made me think that there were still more enemies there, but maybe I just was distracted by the explosion. I didn't see, or maybe fighting the two enemies did not give us any experience. Oh, right.
Pathfinder, this area can be mined for resources.
Just another
You can extract
Kett ship
minerals
that dropped
via
down.
your mining interface.
Right, see, that's the thing. It's like the mineral-rich area is technically a little bit further in this direction, so probably gonna have to veer off the beaten path. I mean, Ezo's the thing that we really want, right? Like, yes, we're getting a bunch of this, but I'm pretty sure was this beryllium is common, so I don't really think getting much of it is all that significant, whereas Ezo is actually hard to come by. Like, even though this is an astronomical amount of beryllium. Heading out? Well, thanks for stopping by. Have a good night. Yeah, we'll try not to freeze to death. No promises, but... Okay, platinum is better. It's rarer. I don't think it's ultra rare, but it is... at the very least, rare, I think. Something a little beryllium, so that's a little bit of a better return there. It's hard to get platinum in large chunks, so 41 doesn't sound like a lot, but you know, typically we're getting platinum in just chunks of, like, 4, so it's not
Ryder,
terrible.
that's a flare. Someone could be in trouble.
Got it. We should see if we can lend a hand.
Where was the flare?
It's the Kett. They must be going after the Angara.
Hold on. Is this? That's the Sorry Arc stuff, which, I mean, at some point we'll probably want to do, but that was not really what I was planning to go for. So more planning on going this way, which technically we're headed in the wrong direction for all of a sudden, but I don't really know. It's gotta be this, right? Okay, that's definitely the flare. Alright, we'll make a little detour. A lot of blue flying
Who
around.
are you? You don't look like Kett. Join the fight or stay out of the way.
Oh. I thought those were Angara. And that those were the Kett. I was very confused for a second. That's why the Angara seem to be shooting at us. Oh, hello. Some big dudes here. Okay, aloha.
The temperature is falling, Pathfinder.
Thank you for the assistance. Any enemy of the Kett is an ally of ours.
You don't look like you're in distress. What was that beacon for?
To draw the Kett. To give them what they deserve.
Oh, bold.
There's a group that's been attacking shuttles, killing and scavenging from innocents. I knew the beacon would attract them. They'd come here to find unarmed, easy victims.
I mean, sounds like it worked.
Clever trap. Looks like they fell for it.
But it's still a dirty move. More civilians might suffer because of it.
Enough talk. We have more Kett incoming.
Oh, what? Cool move, Cora. But also, I'm not really sure why more civilians would... Oh, that's multiple dropships. Why would more people, civilians, suffer from it? Just because... Oh, that's a fair number. Also, I thought I could take cover behind that, and then I couldn't. And that meant we were in a kind of tricky spot. Yeah, is it like, well, you're kind of baiting out civilians into thinking they ought to help you? Because they're going to think you're in distress when you actually aren't? So, I mean, clearly there's no one else coming here except for us, so feels like that's Bit of a stretch. Ow, oh, that's another one of the big dudes.
Environment check. Temperatures
No
are
longer
within
freezing. That's
acceptable
a start.
parameters. Life
Also,
support is
ow.
back online.
Okay, got rid of one of the big machine gun dudes. Should make it much easier to get the second one.
Environment check. Temperatures are within acceptable parameters. Life support is back online.
Hello.
So
Whoa,
much violence.
got viability from that. Okay. I mean, and a ton of experience as well. And we unlocked the next Nexus threshold, so that's very nice. But it wasn't totally clear to me. So is this technically a side quest? Air quotes, side quests? Because it was kind of an impromptu encounter here where I thought we opened up our minimap at, or I guess before we actually got here, we opened up our minimap because I was trying to see if there was an icon that would show us exactly where this was going to take place. But I didn't see one. So I was kind of taking that as an
The temperature
indicator
is falling, Pathfinder.
for if this was an official encounter or more of just a random little thing. And since it didn't show up, I thought it was a random little thing.
Temperatures are within acceptable parameters.
So I am surprised. We got a lot of experience, or rather a lot of experience
That's probably
and
the last
survivability
of
from
them.
it.
These Kett will never make victims of Voeld's people again. Take what you want from the Fallen. And thanks for all
We
the
already
help.
have. Don't you worry. Okay. So, little detour. But a surprisingly productive one at that. And at this point, I mean, we're at 87% viability. I have to imagine once we activate this, that settlement, that we will be at 100%. So, what does that? That means going in exactly the opposite direction that we are currently pointed in. And we could technically restore life support here. The Nomad as well. I think if we get close enough to this, that should work. Just casually run over our friends. Don't mind us! Don't mind us! Alright, be on your way. Okay. But yeah, unless there's some specific thing that we need to do to, we need to go further to, what is that, our right, technically. Down here, I guess? I mean, we can see the icon on our minimap at this point. And we can't really go there as the crow flies, but it's probably still good enough for us to know where we should go. But then again, obviously
That's
there
Kett tech. Stay alert.
are more Kett.
Kett camp spotted.
Oh, I did not realize we were right on top of it. I did not realize we were right on top of it. That was supposed to be a fire combo, but I guess we'll take the tech combo as well. Literally ended the flame early just so we could do it. Go away, sir. Who's left? Oh, you're left. And you're actually a little lead enemy of sorts. You threw a grenade as you were dying. That's incredibly rude. Again, I was not exactly eyeing the bottom left corner as we
temperature decrease.
fought the last enemy because we were dodging the grenade, but I hope we got experience from that. So we did not get much in the way of loot. And that was a little detour, right? Oh. Hold on a second. Oh, wait. I mean, yes. As the crow flies, we could get a pretty direct route, but looks like there will be a bit of a mountain in our way, so I'm not entirely sure if we'll be able to overcome that. There's obviously this as well, but I think for the most part right now, we're just trying to focus on this for the time being. We don't need to do absolutely everything on Voeld right now, so we have done a whole lot as of late, and for the most part, on other planets, we've tried to deliberately leave a few things here or there in case, for some reason, the planets do drop down on viability later on. We still have ways to go back and bump that back up to 100. Because again, I imagine once we do this, we will be at 100. So I actually deliberately do not want to do everything right here, right now. Not yet, at least. We were quite far away from this place before or when we had discovered that it could be the settlement location. I don't remember how it happened, because I'm pretty sure that we did not have it on our map from the beginning. This is the memory trigger.
Outpost, Pathfinder.
Yes, but there's also this. And while we're up here, I feel like we ought to do this. It's been a long time since we last had one of these, wasn't it? I don't remember if that ever gives us experience. Rather,
Sam, another memory prompt?
research.
Yes, though my memory array remains locked. Additional triggers are required.
Okay. Alright, so do we go down to those little flashing lights, right? I'm pretty sure. I mean, there is the flashing light thing for the something that we are apparently supposed to scan here. I assume it's for the outpost, though, even though it's very aggressively scanning at this very moment. Obviously, we can't go back now. I'm currently in reverse, so don't really think there's no take-backs at this point. Also, camera's not exactly helping, but oh my god. Okay, yeah, it's this. It's this. This is what we're here for.
Confirm.
Congratulations, Pathfinder. This was a real challenge, and badly needed.
Hello again, Director. How close are you keeping tabs on me anyway?
As close as you'd expect when you
Closer than I'd like.
into local concerns. Real talk, Pathfinder. I, as Governor Shai,
You did not just say real talk.
This outpost. If local Angara weren't on board, we'd have a problem. We are good, right? As much as you've brought us, we can't afford to anger the neighbors.
They want us as allies as well. Relax in so many ways is exactly what you need to do, though.
It's fine, Director. I ticked 3 or 4 of the necessary boxes.
You enjoy testing me, but results are what matter, and I respect it. Voeld helps. Cold as it is, it changes estimates in our favor, but the initiative needs you to find more. We're never really done, of course. Survival isn't something that just ends. Time for the uncomfortable bit, Pathfinder. The flag waving.
I'm supposed to summarize Voeld?
As much as anyone can.
We're exceeding expectations. That's rather self-important. Nah. Adventure.
You need to see this place. I've laid the groundwork, but there's so much left to discover. Voeld is not just about survival. We know it. The Angara know it. It's the adventure we all signed on for.
Recorded, Pathfinder. Addison out.
Environmental temperatures are within acceptable limits.
Yeah, there you go. 20% viability, which does bump us up really over 100. 100% on Voeld. Now that gives us another Nexus level, so that's 2. And that means there's going to be a lot of stuff for us to do. There you have it, the big shiny green bar with the 100% viability. You'll love to see it. So now that means Voeld, Eos, and Havarl all on 100%. That's great. Kadara still a long way to go there, but obviously we only just recently discovered that spot. And some new planets that we learned about recently as well that we've not even been to at all yet. So Which is good, I think, now to have gotten to a point where it feels like Voeld is far enough along that we feel comfortable leaving it behind for the time being, basically, is more or less where I wanted to get to with it, because it just felt like it was so far behind the other early planets that we visited. That being said, obviously would like to talk and explore a bit more in this area.
Cute.
Don't tell me.
3 hours, 18 minutes.
Admittedly, I missed what number the first person said.
So I get to meet the Pathfinder responsible for making this place happen. I'm Lizanna Telesso. Because of you, I have the best job in the galaxy.
Oh?
Which is?
I'm an ice runner. I get to dodge the Scourge and outrun the Kett to bring water to the colonies.
Does sound pretty cool.
Doesn't get
The
more
name, at
exciting
least.
than that.
Also, this other lady really needs to get out of our face. Okay, thank you. Also, very strange how she has, like, purple, or now, as soon as I start talking about it, she walks out of the frame and you can't see her anymore. She's like purple and white, there you go. Armor for everything except her helmet, which just looks totally different and completely out of place. So her style is way off. Way off. Almost. But the helmet just throws it all off. So, basically you're supplying water, which is definitely important.
So you're responsible for the well-being of the colonies. That's a big deal.
It doesn't fall on my shoulders alone. But I like making a difference.
Okay, let's see. So, yeah, also I just really love the name Ice Running. Sounds really cool.
So you mine the ice as a water source. Smart.
I fly ice blocks to the Nexus. Eos. Even made a run to Havarl for the Angara. Speaking of which, sounded like there was trouble brewing when I landed.
Oh?
The Angara were on edge. Maybe you should check it out.
Okay, so yeah, that's... Okay, this other person really needs to understand personal space, okay? It's not just that she's right next to us, it's that she's leaning in right next to us. Staring straight at us. What were we talking about? Now I've been totally distracted, and now I'm getting distracted. Go away. Go. You know what? We can. Okay, there we go. Ignore that other person. Now watch her move even closer to us and continue to be in frame and just stare directly. Go away. Go away. Oh. Okay. What were we saying? I like the name Ice Running. Oh, but you said, that some stuff has happened at Havarl. So we anticipated that maybe there would be some kind of bad things that would happen to some of the early planets at some points in the game, which is, again, why we deliberately held back on some of the side quests in most This woman has no concept of personal space. This is as far as I can move the camera away from her. And she's still finding a way to get... What the heck is your problem? Oh my god. Just go away. Let me finish a sentence without having you barge into our personal space. Anyways, one moment while I just stop looking at the screen. We deliberately did not do every single side quest in most of the planets because we theorized that there might have been some future problems that those colonies would run into and that might potentially even lower the viability on those planets. So we want to make sure that we still have some ways to go back and bump that back up. So that was at least the logic at the time. Of course, we'll see if that turns out to be the case or if we should just go in and basically complete everything in its entirety. But that is interesting to hear that there's some other new stuff on Havarl, especially because we have not done any main quests as of late. These have been significant side content related things, setting up outposts and going to vaults and what have you. Not gonna acknowledge the person who is, not gonna acknowledge the person there. Although you did successfully make me lose my train of thought. Yes, we've not done any main quests since then. Some significant side quest stuff, but, I mean, I guess setting up an outpost and or going into a vault, I could see how that would be big enough to sort of trigger things happening on other planets, but I would have expected it to have been main quest related stuff, so intrigued. I'm intrigued by all that.
I've flown through the Scourge before. It's not easy.
That's half the fun. I get to change my routes to avoid it, like I'm outsmarting it. I've had a few close calls where it shorted my nav system. Once, I flew blind all the way to the Nexus.
Wow.
There's no way you pulled that off.
There's a reason I was the Citadel's best pilot.
Well. I mean, we left for the Andromeda Initiative, left the Milky Way Galaxy, and left the Citadel at the time when Joker, the pilot from Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, was still there, alive, in the Milky Way Galaxy. Obviously, now it's 600 years later, so he's presumably no longer alive. But when we had left, he would probably argue that was not the case. I mean, he was the best pilot in the Alliance, at the very least. I suppose you could make a case that she was the best Asari pilot, and so it'd be interesting to see a competition between her and Joker.
How did you get into this job?
I was a pilot for the Citadel fleet, until I got bored and wanted something new.
It's
The
everyone's
initiative
story.
sounded right up my alley. I was one of the first to sign up.
But how'd you end up at this outpost?
I asked. Marched into Priya's office and told her I was the best pilot she'd get. Said I didn't care if the outpost was mostly ex-Alliance. I wanted in. I've been giving her trouble ever since.
Alright.
Take it easy.
No fun in that.
You. We got beef? Because it feels like we've got beef. It feels like you really want to fight us right now. Don't ever speak to me or my son again.
Send someone to the resistance camp. We'll give them our extra supplies.
Okay, I think we just heard that previous person name drop you, so I'm guessing, especially because there's a quest icon right on top of you, that you are probably the governor / whatever you want to call the leader of this new settlement.
Pleasure to meet you, Pathfinder. Priya Blake, captain of Outpost Taravuni. I'm glad you're here. I thought we'd have to deal with this on our own.
What's the problem? Is it the Kett?
No, at least I don't think so. A few of my drill technicians went missing on a research expedition west of here. We've tried their comms, but get nothing but static.
Does sound like they're in trouble.
Whatever happened, they're not safe out there. We need to find them.
We're not equipped for a full search, especially into dangerous territory. I don't know what to do. I was supposed to keep these people safe. I've already failed them.
I mean... Ryder, no. We'll find them.
Don't lose hope. I'll find your people.
Coming from you, I believe it. Their research log is in the lab. Maybe your AI can piece together the corrupted data and get a nav point.
Okay, so I'm not sure. It doesn't seem like you're the leader of this settlement as much as you're just a research captain of some, or, you know, or military captain of some variety. But not the political leader, if you will. So, important person, but not the role that I expected you to be in. But we could still learn from you, I suppose. This was the name that I think you used to describe... I mean, is this technically just our second settlement / city, isn't it? Because we had Prodromos, obviously was the first one. But although we did get up to 100% viability on Havarl, we basically said that we didn't want to create a settlement there because it was the homeworld of the Angara. We thought that'd send the wrong message. So though this is the third planet that we've gotten up to 100% viability and gotten to that threshold, it is actually only the second one that we've gone and created a settlement in, so... Okay, I'm intrigued.
You picked a mouthful of a name for the outpost.
It's Shalesh. Angaran language means forward together. It represents the close relationship we have with the Angara here on Voeld.
I mean, I suppose that's a good thing.
You're working together.
This is their world. Because of you, they trusted us enough to give us a place in it. Now it's my job to cement that bond. We'll do our best to earn what they've given us.
So in that case, maybe you are the leader here?
We're staking a claim, but what does the initiative want with Voeld?
Look at the landscape. What do you see?
Snow.
Ice?
Ice?
A lot of ice.
Water. Voeld is a massive, endless source of it. We're proud to serve as the initiative's first ice runners. We mine the ice here and haul it to colonies where water is scarce.
Like Eos.
Eos.
Even the Nexus. The more people we wake from cryo, the more resources we'll need.
True.
Our ice runners make sure water is never a problem.
True. Yeah. I mean, water's really important. No joke. So, I mean, that's legitimately one of the top priorities when you're trying to colonize other planets and what have you. So that, yeah, in that way, Voeld absolutely could be very valuable. That does make sense. Okay, but this is your name, I think?
Were you in the Alliance too?
I was an Alliance officer for a decade before I got sick of being a pawn in the Council's power plays. Heard about the initiative and figured it'd be a fresh start. A chance to make a real difference.
I'm ex-Alliance too. You ever miss it?
Given the chance, I'd make this choice all over again. But when I see the Resistance push against the Kett, makes me wonder if my days behind a gun aren't really over.
Okay, so you certainly have at least some military training and experience. Alright, but then... Yes, this was, of course, originally an Angaran planet, and they're very much still Angaran here, especially after we took several steps to make the planet more livable, activating the vault and what have you. So, I'd imagine they still want to have a pretty significant presence on this planet as well, so the relations with them will be important.
I have to say, I'm surprised the Angara let us put an outpost here.
A portion of the ice we mine goes to their blockade runners, who take it to Resistance bases all over the cluster.
Water for their soldiers.
It feels good to do our part against the Kett, however small.
Okay, similar value to both us and the Angara in that case.
I should head out.
Come back if you need anything.
Alright. So yeah, I don't think we're about to do this mission right now. I mean, at some point, I'm sure, but...
We'll give them our extra supplies.
Mostly just trying to get the lay of the land of the new area, for the time being. Also love if it was not a hazard out here, and it doesn't seem like it is, which is very convenient.
Ryder.
Oh, who said that? I'm not sure. Also, I'm not sure I did any scanning in the other room, but we'll be fine. Oh, well, this is just an entrance to... Okay, fair enough.
Damn Scourge got me on the way to Eos. Where's the fun in that?
But that means... Not been over here. Tureen frigate model, sure, I guess. Why not? Just casually mess with the furniture. Perfect.
How far did the drill techs have to dig?
Already 30 meters deep, with no temperature change.
This damn ice ball. Pathfinder, welcome to scenic Voeld. Hope you're enjoying the view. To the east, ice. To the west, more ice.
Always look on the bright side of life.
At least you're not in cryo anymore, right?
Look around. This is cryo. But I'll endure this frozen hell if it means completing my research.
Okay. Care to elaborate?
What are you researching?
I'm studying ways we can harness geothermal activity as a source of energy. Believe it or not, below Voeld's surface is a maze of heated geothermal vents.
That's why you're
Keep
trying to see what the temperature was?
Completely inhospitable.
This
But
guy too.
Just barely.
And you can use it as a power source.
That's the hope. I hear the Angara are doing something similar, but they won't let me get close. So I'm determined to find the solution on my own.
Okay. How's the weather holding up?
You know, it was even worse here before I activated the vault.
So I heard. Glad I wasn't around for that. Makes me wonder what this place will look like in 10 years, once the vault's had time to really work.
Think it'll be up to your standards?
My standards involve a beach and a healthy amount of sun, but we'll see.
Alright, pretty bitter, but, no.
I'm good for now.
Don't freeze to death out there.
We've been through worse, so suck it up, buddy. As we said, it was worse. Was worse before we activated the vault. You have it easy. You think that this is bad. Just open right here? No, that's a glass wall. I knew that. I understand what a glass wall is, okay? Okay. Let's see. So that is this building. Actually turns out to be pretty big. Oh, hold on. Is there a second floor?
Think you can get me a few extra converters?
The Nexus sent a bunch to EOS last week, but I'll see what I can do.
I owe you one.
Alright, what's the deal? Everyone is doing this weird stuff. Don't mind me as I casually scope a gun in at you from point blank. Everyone is doing this where they have one set of armor for everything except their helmet, and their helmet just sticks out like a sore thumb. I hate it. What was it? Kadar, we were saying everyone's super stylish. Voeld confirmed worst style in the galaxy. Without question.
Here's our pathfinder. Captain Blake says you're welcome to any tech in my stock. By the way, I saw your Nomad earlier. How does that thing handle?
Not great.
It keeps the Kett off me. That's all I can ask for.
Fair point. Still, I bet it's fun to drive. Anyway, I have new tech in stock. See if anything strikes your interest.
Okay, at the very least, it probably does make sense for us to sell salvage, because I forgot to do that previously. So let's do that, okay. Then, what? Cobra RPG... Wait, have we seen this before? I might have seen this once before. It's supposed to projectile launch from an Omni tool that deals massive damage. This is basically like the missiles from Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, it feels like it. I feel like that's probably what I said last time as well. Basically just consumables. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's not really of interest to us, I don't think.
It's you. Bennett Cahaley reporting for duty. You need supplies? I'm your man. It's an honor to meet you, Pathfinder.
Take it easy.
This isn't the Alliance. No need for formalities. Just call me Ryder.
Sorry. Old habits die hard when Captain Blake barks orders like a drill sergeant.
Captain Blake?
Not an official title, of course. She earned the nickname because she runs this place like an Alliance camp. But I've jabbered away for too long. You're here for supplies.
Let's see what you have.
Whatever you need, I've got it.
Okay, yeah. So basically, the previous guy was consumables. This is crafting materials that you sell. I feel like, you know, for some of the crafting materials, I think we have a ton of them. Oh, you actually have mods as well. Some of which could be nifty. Potentially. But when it comes to the supply drops and what have you, we have a ton of at least the metals, or minerals, I think is technically what they are usually referred to as. We have those, and I think it's, what, the tech materials as well are the two things that we had the supply pods for. The thing that we do not have supply pods for at the moment, though, are the organic materials. So, stuff like this. Stuff like this, I feel like there's a case to be made for when we happen to be stopping by a trader like this who has these types of high-level crafting materials, it might be worth just, you know, not spending a ton, but getting a little bit of the high-level stuff. As we were saying not that long ago, perhaps we would like to get kind of aggressive with some crafting in the not-so-distant future, and so if that is the case, it'd be kind of nice to load up on these types of things. Again, for the low-level stuff, at least certainly for the minerals and for the tech materials, we have a bazillion of them, but specifically for the organic materials like this here, which drops from the bigger enemies that are rare and more difficult, it might make some sense to invest a little bit. How expensive are they? If we do this, we're basically spending 1,000. I think that's okay. And we just made, what, like 2,000 plus from selling salvage and what have you, and we really haven't spent credits on almost anything. And once again, as I was saying previously, when it comes to credits, I feel like my personal tendency
Make sure Fumiyoku keeps to himself. We don't need him spreading his bad attitude.
is very much a sort of save then splurge, where I will, my natural inclination is to buy nothing for the vast majority of the game, and then at the very end, once we've saved up a bunch of money, buy just the best stuff. and basically only the best stuff. Which is good, because it is a way to make sure you can afford the best stuff as quickly as possible, but on the other hand, means that up until then, you know, you're kind of scraping by. So, I'll try to fight that urge to a certain extent, but that is something that I'd still like to do, is get the good stuff, of course. But perhaps we can be a little more aggressive, crafting other things if we load up on some of the other materials in the meantime. There just does not seem to be anything of importance in here right now. Admittedly, I've not been opening up our map to see if there's specific quests or what have you in given locations. I'm kind of just wandering around to places that I don't think we've been to yet. Are these turrets? These are, in fact, turrets. I'm surprised we can't scan them, because I don't really think we've seen turrets of our own making before. And only very recently did we see turrets from our enemies. Now, admittedly, I do not remember if we've been in this building. I think we'll be able to tell soon upon getting in here. Yes, obviously we have. We were just speaking to you guys. Okay. In that case, maybe it's worth zooming in a bit, and... okay, that's just for the research clues. Not actually been to the forward station. Okay, the Tempest does land here. Does the Tempest now... yeah, I guess the Tempest will land here from here on out, right? I think that was the case for EOS once we got the outpost set up, rather than dropping us off at the original location. Okay. But just because we're approaching this thing here? Yes. That's why. I mean, this is technically for that quest that I was saying we weren't really going to do right now, but
this crate
while we're
contains
here.
a prototype for a handheld ice drill.
So they're developing a portable drilling method. Smart.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's quite as much going on here as there was at Podromos. Let's see. Bryn Kemper. Ella narrowed possible ID not found sample sites to a single radius. Will error to the site and take enough samples for her to test. Setting device with nav point error.
Sam, you get anything from this mess?
Analyzing. It seems most of their data comes from a single nav point. Updating now.
Here's hoping they're still okay.
Alright, so, as I was saying, I think for the most part we're probably going to be holding off on most other Voeld missions for a little while now, since we've been on Voeld for quite some time at this point. So, very much wanted to get the vault and get this outpost set up. And now that we've done those things, I think we're probably ready to, you know, once we've finished exploring the area, we're probably ready to move back over to other planets, potentially some planets that are new to us altogether. Also probably about to just break down that adventure that we just picked up, because it is not very good. I am intrigued by the Cyclone, though. I kind of want to at least test it out, because I don't think we have. Don't think we've tried a Cyclone yet, and it is a weapon that is new to Andromeda. Is this the building that we started out with on this floor? Perhaps not. Oh, probably not, because we probably would have gotten this. So yeah, like the Omnigel canisters, I think we have quite literally multiple thousands of those from the supply drops. So no issue with that stuff. It's pretty much just the organics. This is the one category that we've not yet unlocked the supply drops for. Okay, I don't think we've been to the big satellite dish thing. Not sure we've been in here either yet, though. So maybe we check these out and then we get on our way. Have we been in here? Oh, yeah, right, these guys were the boring dudes. And they're the inflatable mattress, or water bed, or something like that. Ice bed, perhaps? Okay, let's see what the deal is over here. It does start to turn into a hazard, though. It was nice when you're in the main area of the settlement that you don't have to worry about that, because otherwise that was going to be a real pain navigating around, but... Oh, hold on. Oh, I don't know if that qualifies as shy platinum, but it is platinum. Is this the shadow of the season? No, of the tower? Seems like it. Yeah, how do we... Guess maybe we can't actually go up it? But I want to. I'm not sure that we can. Unless we are up for a serious platforming session here. Oh, hold on. It's not a full power one. This feels like a losing battle. Well, actually. Oh, no, we can't get... Hold on. Here. Can't go up on this little lip. Right here. No. No, we're... Oh, my goodness. Okay, we are not going to do that anymore. Never mind. I take it back. We'll be fine. Thank you very much. Rather not tempt fate like that. Or that.
I'm detecting below normal temperatures.
Yeah, I am too, as it turns out.
Environmental temperatures are within acceptable limits.
Okay, there is the forward station itself here, though I'm not really sure that matters anymore. Because we, I believe, already established access to it before. There is the other satellite over there, but not really sure there's going to be anything new to that one that we didn't already attempt to do over there. So I think we might be done here for the moment. Yeah, it does feel like a little less going on here at this outpost compared to Prodromos. Maybe on future occasions we'll have reason to circle back here. I think that did happen in some cases, right? We didn't know of absolutely everything to do at the EOS outpost as soon as we got it. Some stuff only popped up later. So I'm kind of hoping that that's the case. Because obviously, you know, it took a while for us to get this outpost set up, and so I hope that it becomes significant in the future. But I think we're ready to head back to the Tempest. All right.
Been looking for you.
Oh?
You have new email at your terminal, Pathfinder.
I'm sure we have more emails. Actually, have we been back to the Tempest and spoken to PP since we did that little side quest for her? To pick up the remnant tech? Because maybe we have finished that stuff, we just needed to confirm it by talking with her, and so maybe we can now upgrade her level 6 powers. I kind of hope so, but I don't know. Let's see. I didn't want to send this from Liam. Pathfinder, I need your help with a thing. A big thing. Can't go into it in a message, and you're not gonna like why. But I can explain. Come to talk to me. It's Liam. Okay, that concerns me a little bit, of course. It did have a little, what is it, a hexagon or octagon, which usually means that there's an actual quest tied to that, so, alright. So this is from Jal. I told Liam and PB and Lexi a children's story that the mothers used to tell us when we were small. It's from our oral history of the time before the Scourge. The crew said I should write it down so that it can be added to the cultural center on the Nexus. Sounds like a good idea. The Wayward Child. The Prodigal? Miranda? Long ago, there was a child who was very stubborn and wouldn't listen to any wisdom, not from her father, nor her many mothers. One day, seeking adventure, she snuck aboard a spaceship with an unknown destination. The child was brave to seek adventure, however, she ended up getting spaced with a load of garbage. Deservedly, she froze in the cold vacuum of space and died at the end. What the heck? I don't know why the crew enjoyed it. It's a terrible story meant to scare youngsters into obedience, yeah. Is this a novelty to your people? If so, how do you humans keep children from hurting themselves? Yikes. Yeah, that's a pretty harsh story there. Confidential Voeld intel from Commander Dozil. Since your liberation of the labor camp on Voeld, some information has come to my attention. For years, the Kett ignored our work in the frozen city of Jeannick. Searching for details of our buried past didn't seem to threaten them. One day, we must have uncovered something that the Kett deemed extremely dangerous. They invaded the city, killing or enslaving our archaeological team, and locked it down. Intel from the labor camp seems to confirm what have, to this point, only been crazy rumors. There may be an ancient pre-Scourge AI locked in ice in the depths of the city. This explains the Prefect's swift and violent move. I've heard that the Kett shun tech like artificial intelligence, and they certainly wouldn't want us to have it. Interesting, that's the first we've heard of Kett not liking artificial intelligence, because thus far, we've just heard that they're fascinated by any and everything Remnant, so if anything, I would have thought that they would like artificial intelligence. I mean, I suppose we don't know if Kett are AI or VI, which has distinctions in the Mass Effect universe where VI is basically not self-aware, whereas AI is. And AI is illegal. We've had this discussion a little bit before when we were talking about Sam, but I guess we don't really know that one way or the other for the Remnant. I guess I kind of assumed that they were going to be AI since, although they haven't really shown much in the way of intelligence when it comes to conversations with us. They obviously, from a technological standpoint with their vaults, are capable of doing some pretty incredible things. So they're at least smart, in some smart, air quotes, but are they self-aware? That I'm not sure of. Please keep this knowledge to yourself. Okay. I mean, that seems to tie to the place with the artifacts on Voeld that we recently uncovered.
Outstanding, Pathfinder.
We'll use that. We also have a bunch of strike team stuff that we'll be looking at in just a second as well. But, yeah, so that's definitely going to be a fairly high priority. Probably the highest priority remaining thing that we'll have on Voeld, or at least one of them.
No peeking. I'm putting the finishing touches on my personal project.
I thought you said it was on the Nexus.
I'm just perfecting the final component here, or should I say, trying to.
Okay.
Several of the crew have offered to help, and I keep politely declining and ushering them out. So, thank you for retrieving that critical piece of REM tech, but kindly stop digging.
Alright, if you insist, I guess.
Fine. Have your surprise.
You won't regret it.
Want me to ask the others to back off?
No, I can handle it. As long as they're not looking to be besties. And I'm happy that someone with the galaxy at their fingertips can still give a girl her space. It's safe to say that you, my friend, are one of a kind.
And now she's very much hitting on us? Okay, so we have basically said that if anything, we're going to pursue a relationship with Vetra, right? I know, I'm pretty sure that PB is far and away the most common person for people to romance in Andromeda, at least from what I can tell from reading between the lines a little bit, from what I've heard. But no, I think we've committed at this point, more or less, to Vetra, so, or at least we're trying to. So, let's see. Is that really all you care about, or we both are? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't have to explain genetics to you, do I? Everyone is one of a kind.
Yes, assuming you're not a clone. But no more distractions.
You are a twin.
The next time you're on the
Non-identical twin,
Nexus,
so
my
fair enough.
project will be done. Come by, and I'll unveil it. Now, if you will, please leave me to my own devices.
She's definitely very flirtatious. So I can understand. I can see why it'd be kind of popular for people to pursue a relationship with her. Okay, so, I was just wondering if we want to check in with other squad mates. Obviously, Liam has said he wants to chat with us, but on the other hand, despite us having done a whole bunch of things on Voeld, as we were saying, we technically did not do a main quest, so I'm not really sure that we're going to have that much in the way of new things to hear from them. Okay, so we do have now 3 cryopods available. So, for what it's worth, yes, as I was saying before, we have the minerals, and we have the tech items as well, which are consumables used in most cases for crafting. We have a whole bunch of those. There is also one for organic materials, I thought, somewhere. Maybe it might be in a different category. But we don't have that unlocked, so that's why we have kind of an imbalance. We have ridiculous quantity of crafting materials for those two categories, but not nearly as much for the other. So, by that logic, there's some case to be made for going for the other one, but I think we'll probably settle with what we have for the time being. But, let's just see, because there were some things also that were limited based on how much viability we had on some planets, and obviously Voeld is now much higher viability, and anything that is gated by your Voeld viability is now, one would assume, available to us. We can earn credits at regular intervals. So I know we've seen most of these before, but now that we have so many points here, it's perhaps worth considering. 70% viability on Kadara. I don't think we've checked here since having visited Kadara, have we? So I don't know if we've seen this before. Having friends in all the right places means always getting the best prices, green market connections too, even better prices when buying and selling items, or maybe this was here, but it said something like unknown requirements, or who knows, and we also need to do that one. So that's not that intriguing to me. Market dominance, gain access to special inventories. This does intrigue me a little bit just because, again, I like trying to acquire the best possible items, the whole in-between stuff, mid-tier. Generally, I just try to sort of grind through and get by with lower level stuff unless and until I can afford the really big stuff. So if getting the special inventories from merchants gives us access to high level gear that we would not otherwise be able to get, and in some cases potentially the best gear, then that does intrigue me. But I don't know, maybe proper crafting, ambitious crafting would still be the best possible way. I'm not sure. I don't know how significant this is. Supply lines, increase the amount of raw materials, consumables, purchased from traders. I mean, we did do a little bit of this. As I was just saying before, it feels like perhaps that is something worth considering. But at least for the high-level stuff, and this, I'm pretty sure is the first time we've seen this, because yeah, this does require Kadara viability, which is obviously not very high at the moment, because we only just recently got there. Increase inventory capacity. Once upon a time, I had said that this feels like this is mostly just for quality of life, and it's probably not all that significant. That may no longer be the case, for reasons we will soon discuss. This might need to suddenly become a much higher priority. Then, further increase inventory capacity. Okay, that might not be necessary. Also, we can't do it right now, because Kadara needs to have more viability. And cuts the penalty of all fusion mods in... what? Wide-reaching trading network gives initiative access to top manufacturers and fabricators. I don't remember what fusion mods are. Or there's a specific type of... specific category of mods for crafting. I don't remember what those are, but that sounds like that might be helpful for making endgame gear, but not entirely sure. But yeah, so this we might actually need to prioritize more than I had initially anticipated. See if there are any more interesting things that are rising near the top of our list, and or things that are just new that we need to consider. Here are the organic materials. So yeah, I mean, if we wanted to make it so we evened out the type of materials we're getting, that it would perhaps make sense to do this, but as I think I said before, I had spent quite some time being very ambitious with picking up the intel here. There's another thing that we could pick up at regular intervals, as well as the tech and mineral drops. And it felt like it was getting so ridiculous, the amount of stuff we got on those categories, that I basically just said, I'm not going to go out of my way to do these anymore. Like, when we're stopping by, when it's been 40 minutes, and we've been playing for a while, then, you know, we can certainly do it. But, like, I was basically just like, oh, I'll just leave Andromeda running in the background, and every so often tab back in and do this stuff. And no, definitely not going to continue to do that anymore, because that just got a little ridiculous. But let's see, hidden caches. I don't know how good those hidden caches are. I also don't know. My original question with this was, you know, if you're exploring diligently, are these caches that you can still find, but it just requires that you explore very thoroughly? Or are these caches that quite literally do not exist unless and until you activate this, in which case, yes, it does give you incremental rewards? Already done the bonus experience. Extra consumable slot, probably not all that necessary. Not at this stage, at least. We're very rarely, if ever, using consumables. We have learned how to do them. But, okay, this might also suddenly be more relevant than it was before. Or at least the credits... excuse me, the credits we've seen before. There's a pretty small amount for an individual Apex mission. But once you start talking volume, that might start to add up. And also, there's a second level to it, but I thought this one. 20% chance to receive weapons or armor when an Apex mission is completed. This intrigued me because it felt like this was going to be way more meaningful than the tiny amount of credits we're ever going to be. However, this perhaps may require that we load up on additional inventory space because, as I mentioned in passing previously, so we skipped a week of Andromeda streams as I was recovering my voice. However, I did have the Apex app installed on my phone, and I did do a whole lot of Apex missions, or Strike Teams missions, in between streams. So, let's just say there might be a bit of a backlog there of stuff that we may very well need some inventory space for. So then here, let's see. Mining nodes, Reduces the amount of time it takes to earn research points. Don't really think so. Further increases research data gain from all sources. At least for the Milky Way research, again, because we got so much of that from the supply drops here, it feels like that's insignificant. This does intrigue me, though. The increases augmentation slots by 1 on all research projects, because this functionally means when you're crafting the best possible endgame gear, you can create that stuff, you can make that stuff even stronger. So that is very intriguing. So I want to make sure that we have enough stuff to do that, but that's maybe, I mean, we can, at first I thought this was going to be, oh, you know, yes, I really want this, but we can save it for later. We have recently learned that we can throw all of our augmentations into an item, and then as long as we scrap that item, rather than sell it, we can still get those augmentations back. So it's not like we need to be all concerned about saving our best augmentations for only the best possible gear. We can throw them into random mid-level gear that we're creating as we're going through the relatively early to mid stages of our playthrough. So there is still something to be said for doing that relatively early. But that does require that we do improved development 2, increasing research gain even more. So yeah, I mean, that might still not be the biggest priority. Tell you, I think short term it is going to end up being probably inventory capacity. How much is it? It has not said yet. It still says 100 at the moment. I'm assuming as soon as we tab out... Wait, let's see. Assuming that now it's gonna... Okay, 150. That's, I think, gonna be pretty helpful. That might be all we need for the moment. Okay, yeah, and we can't even do the second one anyway. Because now I think that makes us feel at least a little more comfortable going for the 20% additional chance to receive weapons or armor when an Apex mission is completed. Because, sure, like, doing that once or twice for an Apex mission, it's gonna, on average, takes you 5 times before it activates once. But let's just say, like, theoretically speaking, if you had, I don't know, throw a number out there, 200 boxes, that start to add up pretty quickly. To the point where you'd probably need a bunch of extra inventory space, right? What's up, Core? How's it going? How's it going? Alright, so then we have 1 point left, and at this stage, I don't think we have anything that is absolutely urgent, so perhaps we do go for improved development 2, just so that we can get over to innovation as quickly as possible. Even if this is not a super high priority, it's, you know, it's necessary to get the good one. Okay, so I think that makes sense. Lids, I know you said you did a whole bunch of Apex missions. I know you just threw around a random number. I was not throwing around a random number. I was not throwing around a random number. We quite literally have 200. 200 of little loot boxes here. That is the cap. That is the cap. And Once upon a time, we were like, oh, you know, well, Lindsay, I've saved up like 40 of these. We'll open them up all at once and see how big it is. Yeah, 200 is going to be a ton. And so that's why I was saying, perhaps we do need to increase our inventory space, because since I was doing a bunch of Strike Teams missions, but not actually playing Andromeda, I could basically add additional of these packs to our inventory without actually having the chance to turn them in, because I don't think you can turn them in from the app. So we have a bit of a backlog here, and I did a little bit of research, and apparently, if you start opening these various loot boxes, of which, again, we have 200. Also, by the way, we now have some gold ones. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. But if you have a bunch of these, you get a bunch of items from them, and you don't have the inventory space to hold them, apparently the game just deletes those items, is what I heard. Is what I saw from doing a little bit of research. Wasn't able to confirm if they just completely cease to exist, or if at the very least they technically get disassembled and you get some crafting materials out of them. In that case, you know, it's not the end of the world, at least you're getting something in return. But if, you know, you're quite literally getting zero, nothing at all from when you have no inventory space when you get this stuff, then, you know, if you're opening up 200 packs when you're at functionally a full inventory, then congratulations, you basically just wasted 200 packs. I mean, not all of them are giving items, some of them are crafting materials, and some of them are credits and what have you, but point stands that general premise is very much a thing. So that's why we increased the inventory space, and why I was a little bit hesitant to go for the extra chance of getting weapons and what have you from all this stuff, but that should mean that could perhaps immediately pay off here. So why don't we, I mean, part of me is tempted to just claim all rewards and watch this humongous burst of stuff show up. I do kind of want to do that. Maybe we take a quick second here to see if there's anything else we can remove from our inventory. That's also the reason why I was being very aggressive previously with removing stuff from our inventory and disassembling and what have you. Like Cyclone is not that rare. We could potentially just dump that. This seems to just be, I mean, like, maybe this is faster than this, but this just has higher damage, so perhaps we just deconstruct that. Because we might need quite literally every inventory spot we can get right now. Because when we do this, it is quite literally the maximum amount you can do. Also, I'm pretty sure you only get that warning once. I mean, we just saw it twice because we haven't actually opened these, but I think we'll try it. So we have, let's just double check. We have 41 out of 150 items in our inventory, so I'm hoping, I would think we wouldn't get more than 100 items out of this, right? We can probably open them all at once, because we have a 20% chance of getting an item from that upgrade that we just made, as well as some of these boxes just give you an item, guaranteed. But not all of them. Probably like a third of them, because we have, like, research data isn't an item. Item loot box obviously does. Credits does not. Materials, all the materials get bundled into a stack that we already have, so that shouldn't increase the number of items that we have in our current inventory. And then, yeah, so it's basically, is it just those three? Yeah, items, materials, credits. So a third of 200. So like 66, 67. And then plus another 20% on top of that are giving us items. So like another 40. So like basically 100 in total, thereabouts, which is roughly the amount that we can afford to carry. That's our average expected value, but it could be higher, it could be lower, depending on if we get lucky. So we will see. But let's try it. Let's try it. What could possibly go wrong? I pressed the claim all rewards button. Oh, I don't think the game is going to be... we probably should have saved before we did that. Probably should have saved before we did that, because I think as soon as we tab out of this, the game is going to lag a little bit as it tries to register all of this stuff. 200 packs that we just redeemed here. Mixture of some bronze, some silver, and even some gold. So I'm guessing the bronzes are giving us the 30 packs of research, Okay, but now we're getting the items. So this is the question, really, is how many of the items do we get? Because we could potentially run out of inventory space here. And one would assume the lower level packs are generally going to give us lower level items. This might be doing all bronze, and then all silver, and then all gold. Because those all looked like they were roughly the same value, the things we were getting there. I don't know. Like, these credits, you would have assumed that there'd be a more noticeable difference between the amount of credits you get from bronze, silver, gold pack. Yeah, like now we're starting to see some rare stuff pop up. It just keeps on going, man. It just keeps on going. Then we get Predator. But there you see, Valkyrie, that's an ultra-rare assault rifle. So that's the thing. It's like if you run out of inventory space, you might see some really nice stuff pop up here, and then just not actually get to use it, because you run out of inventory space. So that's why I am eagerly awaiting Piranha. Also fantastic, we were talking about it a little bit earlier. So it might look really good. Yeah, these are all higher rarity things, or at least on average, much higher rarity stuffs. So these look much better, but if you're out of inventory space, then it's just a tease. So as much as I'm excited to see what nice, another Valkyrie, nice things we get popping up here, I'm also, on the other hand, also concerned that, you know, do we see 100 things pop up there? Probably not quite yet, because again, the credits don't give inventory items, the research materials don't either. But the weapons certainly do, and I think we saw mostly weapons, tiny bit of armor as well. Just keeps on going, man. Element 0, so that's ultra rare as well. Yeah, the red is the ultra rare, so anything with that is definitely nice. The yellow is rare, so that's good. Hurricane, ooh. Black Widow, Crusader, Valkyrie. Okay, so yes. Hopefully, we still have enough inventory space for all those things, so let's check. Oh, we have plenty. We're totally fine. We actually may not have even needed to upgrade our inventory. I mean, we did it just to play it safe, but... So, we should have just picked up a whole lot of stuff. Some of which is going to be low level, and we could probably just scrap it, like all these Predators are going to be junk. Phalanx, we've seen before, it's pretty bad. Hurricane is amazing, and is so good that it was something that I was very strongly considering as one of our crafting projects. May still be one of our high priority crafting projects near the end of the game, to throw a bunch of high-level augmentations into it, but we get one here for free, so that's huge. Obviously, we don't get to add augmentations to it, but still, we can still put mods in it after the fact, I suppose, so there's at least that. But Scorpion, we already had one, but we can get rid of our second one. For more stuff, Sidewinder, we already had one, we can get rid of the second. Talon is actually fantastic as well. So, yeah, that's pretty sweet. Hurricane was possibly the single highest priority weapon that I wanted to get at some point. So that's huge. And it's an ultra rare, so it's valuable. Lots of Cyclones. We were deliberately keeping one before just because we haven't used one yet, and it is new, so I'm a little bit curious. Matic, no thanks. Valkyrie is ultra rare, and we got 3 of them. I'm kind of curious how valuable the Valkyrie is if we try to sell it. Just because it is an ultra rare. We don't really need multiple copies of them. Maybe we do a quick check. How valuable are we talking here? Almost 1,000 apiece, and that's not insignificant. Yeah, that seems to be the running rate for anything that is an ultra rare. We just happen to have a whole bunch of copies of the Valkyrie. So, it might be worth doing. It might be. I mean, we've been disassembling so many pieces of equipment that selling a few is probably not the end of the world. So we're just at least getting some credits from our items, not just crafting materials. Balance it out a little bit. Okay, let's continue to look, though, at other weapon categories. That was assault rifles. Oh, the Zalkin... Guess we picked up a new Zalkin 4. Which we may not... I mean, I kind of like them, but... Valkyrie... I'm not the biggest fan of it, to tell you the truth. I think it's kind of... Or, it's... At least from Mass Effect 3, because it existed in Mass Effect 3, is where I'm judging this from. It was... obviously an ultra rare there as well, so you would have assumed it was really strong, but in truth I think it's kind of overrated in that way. Shotguns. Definitely don't need all these disciples. It is generally a very, whoa. Mass Effect 3, at least, it's one of the weakest shotguns, but it is the lightest shotgun in the entire game. So I'm surprised that it is not lighter than we were seeing here, because 29 it's not incredibly heavy, but it is certainly not super light either. I mean, I guess maybe once it reaches a high enough level, it's not bad. We did see a lower level Crusader we had previously. This is arguably the best shotgun in Mass Effect 3. And we were talking previously about the Piranha, which apparently has gotten stronger in Andromeda relative to Mass Effect 3, so I'm very intrigued to hold on to those. Rieger, we had one before, we've now acquired several more. So, I mean, these are rare, so you could maybe make a case for selling them. We didn't check how much these are worth, but also, obviously, the higher level these items are, the more valuable they will become, so I think the level of the weapon drops is based on the level of our character. In fact, we're almost level 30, which might even be the threshold for level 5 items to drop, so that would be, perhaps, would have been kind of nice to have waited for that, but, you know, it'll happen in the future. Black Widow, arguably the best sniper rifle in Mass Effect 3, so definitely very nice to pick that up. Would like to hold on to that. Then we have multiple Vanquishers. Oop, hold on. Hold on. And in general, not a huge fan of sniper rifles, so I think we will probably just dump you. Viper is a terrible sniper rifle from previous games, so I think we dump that altogether. Widow, actually not that bad. Heavy, but very hard hitting. But it's basically a... I keep on doing that accidentally. Basically whoop, wrong guy. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna not use the analog stick, instead use the D-pad. It's probably a much better way to do this. To not accidentally tab out to the other stuff. But, yeah, Widow is basically just a less convenient version of the Black Widow. Because Black Widow has multiple shots per clip, whereas Widow does not. Widow does hit slightly harder, but both of them are basically a shoot once, kill enemy, at least basic enemy type of weapon. Just that Black Widow, you don't have to reload every time you do that, and both of these weapons take a really long time to reload, so that is significant. So basically, Black Widow is like all the benefits of really strong, accurate sniper rifle without some of the biggest weaknesses that those types of weapons would usually have. Whereas Widow is basically just a really good version of your classic sniper rifle. I think we can still dump that then. Raptor's bad, as I was saying. This is new, I have no idea what it's like. I think we might have seen one of them before, but I'm not sure that we tried them before. Indra, we can probably dump it. It's from Mass Effect 3 as well. As I said, not a huge sniper rifle fan, so we'll hold on to the ultra rares, but maybe dump the other stuff. Let's see, we have more Krogan hammers now. Like a whole bunch of Krogan hammers now. We already had one, but we'll dump these because they're the same. Then, did we get more mods, or was it just the weapons? So these do have the little indicator there. Don't remember if that's because we picked them up. We probably would have seen them previously. And we probably would have gotten rid of duplicate melee damage stuffs if we'd seen them before, I would imagine. So I think we got a tiny bit of mods in that case. Probably a good thing in general if the balance is such that overall you're getting much more in the way of actual weapons rather than weapon mods. Now, granted, we don't have the little icons telling us what is new, so it's a little bit harder to know what we do want to dump here. Don't think we're really looking for melee damage on our pistol in general. You have the penetration but lose clip size. You have the penetration but lose weak point damage. I think I prefer getting rid of you. Yeah. Then, again, don't really remember what was new here. Oh, well, these are the same things, so we can probably dump one of you. What do we prefer here? Losing stability or adding weight? It's a small amount of weight. Stability is usually pretty important for assault rifles. on a level 1 scope. That's just, oh no, that's the only pure accuracy one that we have. Might still keep that. Yeah, like compare the amount of credits we're getting to that compared to the credits we got from selling an ultra rare weapon, and it's an order of magnitude less. I mean, not only is it not ultra rare that we're selling here, it's also a mod rather than an actual weapon, so not that surprised by that, but is good context to have, I suppose. Okay. And we might still have picked up new armor as well. A little bit of that. I don't think we saw as much pop up. But yeah, I think in general, as we were saying, we'll deconstruct just about all the armor that we pop up with at the moment because we're feeling good about what we have. We do have intentions of crafting stuff later on, but that's going to be a separate effort. Okay, so those are the rewards from all the strike teams missions. Again, that was from really 2 weeks of pretty aggressive use of the strike team's Apex app on my phone in between streams. So in general, we're probably gonna have less than that. Granted, I hit the 200 cap very quickly, or at least relatively quickly. So in truth, if there was not a cap there, we probably would have hit at least 300, possibly as many as 400. So in an aggressive week, you know, maybe hitting the cap is right around where we're gonna end up being. But what does that? Why? Why is that? Because when it comes to our actual teams, a lot has changed. A lot has changed because you may see here that it says we have now 6 out of 6 teams, which means we have 2 teams that are new since you have last seen our list here, the 2 at the bottom. But also, we have maxed out the levels of the 4 teams that you already have seen before. Level 20 is the maximum, so that has significantly increased the probability of us succeeding for bronze and silver missions. However, what I've discovered in the past couple of weeks doing a whole bunch of these missions is that when it comes to gold missions, from just leveling and reaching level 20, you can get to about 50%, I think is kind of the number that you tend to see squads get to. Then, in order to get to a high enough number to feel like it's a reasonable probability of success, probably still not quite as high as you would see in bronze or silver, but right around there, you really need to more or less have all the stars aligned, where you're at or near maximum level of 20, you have at least plus 10 probability of success from one of these positive traits, ideally, perhaps even slightly more than that. And then also, something that we just started to try out, that I've recently learned a lot more about, which is having the right equipment selected for it as well. So basically, you need to have all those things lined up just about perfectly to have a high chance of success in gold missions. So, what you can do is sort of one of 2 things I've discovered. You can either have one really high-level team, like this team here was originally our first, or might have technically been these guys, who were the first ones to reach level 20. If you have one team that's just head and shoulders above everyone else, you can go to them and you can equip them with the specific item that gives them plus 20% effectiveness across the board, which is this exceptional human intelligence. Super expensive, but it gives plus 20 effectiveness to every single mission. So it's basically the generalist approach. So if you have one team that you want to have be your go-to gold team because it's your only high-level team, that seems like that's the way to go. This is the most expensive gear to equip by a significant margin. It's in fact twice as expensive as the other ones that we're going to talk about in a second. But if you only have one good team to work with, then that's kind of what I've discovered over the past couple weeks seems to be the go-to plan. However, if you have multiple teams that are at a high level, potentially capable of participating in gold missions, then what you can do instead is go for these more specific pieces of gear, which, as you see, do not say 20% effectiveness. They say 40% effectiveness. So they are significantly stronger but they only work to a very small subset of missions. So if you go straight into this as your only high-level team, and there are, several different versions of this. This is, for missions that say we need a hero. Then there are also bonuses for nighttime, and bonuses for high risk, high reward. Bonuses for hostage situation. Poor weather conditions. Nighttime. We've already seen the highest level nighttime one, but basically there are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 specific criteria on a mission that you can get specific equipment for that makes you so much more likely to succeed at those missions. So if you have multiple teams that are at or near level 20, what you can do is you can basically have each of your teams specialize in a specific thing. So, for example, this team here got to level 20, and they got the Rugged, which is that plus 10% effectiveness for poor weather conditions, and so I gave them the gear that gave them a 40% bonus for poor weather conditions missions, and suddenly that means they are extremely good at that specific type of mission. So, highest probability of success, however, they can only succeed in a very small subset of missions. However, if you have a bunch of different teams, all of whom specialize in different things, then collectively you can cover most, but not all, of the missions with a high chance of success type of team. Then you have just enough squads that you can recruit with this 6 maximum that you can use 5 to get those specialized plus 40% bonuses on the equipment slot, and then you can have your last one be the one that has the 20% effectiveness across the board generalist, in which case basically you go for, okay, if there's a mission that has a specialist, then that's your highest chance of success, go for that. If for whatever reason you already have that team deployed on a mission, or if you have a gold mission that does not have a specific criteria to it that you can specialize in at all, then you go for the generalist, and they're not going to be quite as good, but that's the best you can do in those situations where there isn't a specific thing that you can get equipment for that type of mission. So we'll take a look at specific missions in a second, but yes, that's basically what we've done, and it's not perfectly optimized here because I had to do some guessing. In some cases, just had a mission that was poor weather conditions, so I threw on the gear that gave bonus to poor weather conditions for someone, even if they may not have necessarily had that bonus yet. In this case, they did, however, then they subsequently lost the mission, and very inconveniently got a negative trait for the specific thing that they were supposed to specialize in, which kind of stinks. They're still pretty good at it, but not perfect for that reason. But, yeah, so basically, this is the hero, need a hero specialist, and they have a bonus for missions where I need a hero, and these guys have bonus for hostage situation missions, so I gave them hostage situation, gear, so on and so forth. But like these guys, I needed someone to do high risk, high reward equipment bonus stuffs, but this team didn't have the built-in trait for it, so they're not perfectly optimized here, so there's potentially still some shuffling around to be done. But I've waited to a certain extent to develop these last 2 teams, which are the 2 that you've not yet seen because they are recent additions that came after the previous stream. And they, basically, I just wanted to see, are they going to get one of those specific things that you can use a piece of gear to further improve? In which case, that means they should be a good specialist for that. We should lock them in for that. If not, then, we're going to have to settle for someone doing something suboptimal. So that's also why they have names like this. But, so that's a lot of explanation for that stuff, but probably a lot easier to contextualize that if we actually look at some missions here. So, for example, if we have this mission right here, it's gold. So it is very difficult to do this successfully. However, you'll see here, if we go through, we have a team that specializes in weather. Okay, they're not very good at that. That's 50% chance of success. As I said, if you're maximum level, that's generally what you're going to look at for your probability of success for gold missions if you don't have anything specifically tailoring to that. However, we do have somebody who specializes in the We Need a Hero missions, and so you are all the way up at 88%. Then you go down to, there are some other people who have these guys have the trait for it, so they don't have the equipment, but they have a little bit of bonus, so they're slightly better than 50%, and then you have the people who don't have those things, or might even have negative things for that stuff. And then you have the people who are not fully leveled, where it's much lower. So basically, we have this team at 88%, so we're going to deploy you. Apex mission, we're going to send a strike team for this. And again, I didn't check what hold on. What is the criteria for this? Okay, so poor weather conditions and high risk, high reward. Those are both things that it is possible to specialize in. So we should have 2 teams we could potentially deploy here. So you're the weather team. As I said, they do still have the positive trait for the weather conditions, but they also unfortunately got the negative trait, so it's not quite as high a chance of success as we saw for the team we were just looking at before, which was like 88%. So maybe in this case, you're the other team at 81%, you're the high risk, high reward specialist. However, as I was saying before, this team is not perfectly optimized because they do not have the trait that synergizes with high risk, high rewards. They have the equipment, but they're not absolutely perfectly aligned for this, so it is still better to take you. And then for this one, let's see. Bribe attempt, no room for error. So none of those things have a piece of equipment that you can use to boost them up, which means no one here is going to have a super high chance of success. In some cases, again, we'll have some traits that are giving a little bit of a bonus, but this is one of those situations where, because you cannot specialize in any of those things here, can't specialize in bribe attempt, can't specialize in no room for error, from an equipment standpoint at least, you can't do that. That means that at best you're going to be at 55, 60%. So this is one of those situations where perhaps getting someone to have that generalist plus 20% effectiveness across the board equipment, you're not going to get up to the 88%-ish threshold that we were looking at before, but maybe you're still getting high enough where it feels like it's at least a reasonable thing to give it a shot. But on this occasion, I think we're just going to hold off and basically just only go for missions where we have a specific specialist so we can get up to the mid to high 80s with our chance of success. Then we go to the silver missions, and at this point, when everyone is maxed out, or most people are maxed out, we're going to find that chances of success should be very high here. However, right now, I'm still trying to get these two up to level 20 so that they can be specialists of a different variety for gold missions. So, although your chance of success is a little bit lower, basically, right now, you are the designated silver person, silver team, and you're the designated bronze team. And then once they do get up to at or near level 20, I'll put on the specific equipment for their specialty, and they can slot into that role. So, like, this team, for example, I was waiting forever to finally get someone who had a trait for a bonus to nighttime missions, and the last team finally got it. So eventually, they will be able to take the equipment for that, because there is an equipment slot that allows you to upgrade nighttime mission effectiveness, and they can work on that for gold once they get up there, but at level 10, they're still a ways away. So, you're going to go bronze missions, you're going to go silver missions. Right now, this is silver, so we'll take you. Try to get you up to level 20, and as I said, for this one, we're just going to pass on it for the time being. So that's a whole lot on all the Apex stuff that Apex Strike Team stuff that I've been doing. As I said, did a whole lot of that in between streams. So I'm speaking from a point of a lot more experience than I had previously with that, and spent a lot of time thinking about those things, because when I had lost my voice and could not stream Andromeda, that was the only thing for Andromeda that I could do for a couple of weeks. So a lot of time to think about it. A lot of time to try and optimize it. So that's the idea there. Let's see. And as I said, I think the 200 limit for how much loot you can get before you need to turn it in, we might get kind of close to that, because we, at this point with all those teams, can in most situations run just about every mission. I mean, we just saw there's one that we chose to forego this time, but once we get our generalist team up and running as well, then that might not be the case anymore. So that is one of the reasons why, even over the course of just a week, if we are really aggressive getting all that stuff done, which, granted, I can't promise that that's always going to be the case, but then we might be getting close to that 200 loot box number, and at that point, we got what? It wasn't 100, it was maybe like 80 items in our inventory off the top of my head, if I remember correctly. So, maybe even less than that. Now I don't remember anymore. Might have been at 80 at the end of the day, in which case there's only like 40 total. But again, like, some of that is just numbers or RNG, where we have a 20% chance of getting the the loot from stuff, and depends how many things are item boxes versus credit boxes versus research boxes, so that's always going to vary. But now we're at least ready in case we do find ourselves getting a whole bunch of stuff from those, because we do have the increased inventory space. So with all that being said, let's see, we did still have... This was not a main quest mission, so I don't really think there's going to be too much to talk about with squad mates, except for Liam, because he did specifically say that he wanted to speak to us, right? So maybe we take a quick second before we forget to check in with him. Looks like he's... For a second, I thought he was in our room. No, he's back in his usual spot. Okay. Oh, that said loyalty mission. Okay. I mean, that kind of seemed like the direction it was going in, based on the way that he described it before.
Pathfinder, the trap you set in the cargo bay, we got blip. I think something's in there.
I totally forgot about that, but okay. That was right here, wasn't it? Oh. What is it?
Hi there. You must be the one eating all our cereal.
A space hamster? A space hamster?
Hey, it's okay. No one's going to eat you.
Curious squeaking. Should start. Nah, it's cute.
You're the most adorable critter I've met in Andromeda so far. I should find you somewhere safer than our cargo bay.
No, we're keeping this thing as a pet. No question. No question. What's his name, though? Oh, no. I don't know, actually, do we know if it's a... I don't know if we know if this is a male or female hamster. What's the... Oh. And there's the... Like, technically speaking, isn't this kind of sort of reference to... What was it? One of the previous games that BioWare had made, where one of the characters had, like, a gigantic, miniature, tiny, space hamster that he talked to a lot, and the character was crazy, and what have you. I didn't play the game, so I don't remember the specifics, but that was, I think, kind of the logic behind. There was a space hamster in Mass Effect, was it 2 or 3, or 2, and then you could get it back in Mass Effect 3, I think?
How about a nice warm cage in my quarters, and all the cereal you can eat?
Well, not all the cereal.
Guess everybody around here needs a home.
That leveled us up. Okay, and gave us Andromeda viability points? What? We've reached level 30? Okay, so here's the thing. It's like, I'm pretty sure, I think I might have seen somewhere where I was looking around at, like, crafting. Level 30 is the threshold for unlocking level 5 items, so, like, technically speaking, if we had just done that before we unlocked all the stuff from the Apex missions, then we might have gotten much better stuff from the, or at least somewhat better stuff from the Apex missions. Oh well. It's not the last time we're gonna get stuff from Apex missions, so we'll be fine. But it's kind of ironic, nonetheless. Alright, we do, that does mean have some skill points. How many? 6? We're starting to do biotic stuff. What happens if we go further into defensive stuff with Bear, just because it's passive? Reduces weapon weight, improves speed while shields are active. For biotic powers that deplete shields or to activate, shield cost is reduced. Weapon weight capacity. Biotic shield cost reduction. Movement speed while shields active. Movement speed is nice for mobility purposes, because that's probably going to be pretty hard to come by. Max shields, the biotic effect active. 40% is a lot. Maximum shield strength while biotic effect is active upon an enemy. What is this biotic link cooldown? Was that just the name of the ability? It says biotic alacrity, but... Oh yeah, it says biotic link up there. Yeah, okay, so it... Wait, how does that... It's a passive. How does it have a cooldown? I guess when you activate a biotic power on an enemy, you gain 40% extra shields, but indefinitely until the biotic power ends its duration, and then you have a 5-second cooldown after that. I guess that's how it works mechanically, I would assume. So depending on what kind of biotic powers you have, that could be something that you have up for all but that 5-second cooldown, or it could be something you have up almost no time at all. Depends a lot on what direction you're going for. You would need to be pretty consistently using long duration biotic powers and ones that are not going to quickly kill enemies, because I assume if you kill the enemy, that's going to mean there's no longer an enemy affected by your biotic powers, so it's going to deactivate the shields bonus. Oh, I mean, certainly high end. When it's active, that is really nice. At the moment, we are not really using biotic powers at all, which would mean the weapon weight capacity and movement speed while shields are active is the only thing that affects us here. And biotic power shield cost reduction is probably not a huge factor. That could actually be a factor even when we do start switching over to biotic powers, which we might look to do once we start to invest more in our biotics. So you know what? I think we can do it. It's definitely more relevant now, and it might still be a decent option for us in the future as well. Okay. Oh, now we've unlocked rank 2 of Adept. Okay. Good to see. Good to see again. I think Sentinel is ultimately the thing that is of greatest interest to us, but that does also require that we invest further in biotic abilities, so we're making progress there too.
Something I should know about?
Hey, I was just... How you doing? I'm... Great, just, I told you I screwed up, and I have. Remember Varand? The contact in the Angara? She's gone. The whole group is gone. Sudden. So, yeah, up for a rescue? Because if we don't, we could be next.
I mean, it's not clear how you messed this up at the moment, but... yeah, why wouldn't we help?
Of course we are. Why wouldn't we go after them?
Yeah, because I gave Varand Nexus data and nav points.
Why would you do that?
We need to know how to live here. I tried asking. I tried taking. No one would help outsiders. So I took initiative. Gave her data and tech so she could mod it. Varand was... she is a good risk.
I also don't remember who Varand is, to be perfectly honest.
Or barter her to the Kett. It's our heads.
So admittedly, I don't remember who that is, so I don't know how out of line this was. I mean, let's be honest. First of all, that is out of line. Like, he probably does not technically have the authority to have done that, and probably did break a whole bunch of rules. Technically, we're probably the only person who on the team who should be authorized to do that. What's up, Nora? How's it going? Doing okay. Probably, we're keeping it a little bit shorter today. Just working our way back from having lost my voice a little bit. Probably gonna wrap things up pretty soon. But, still holding up. For what it's worth, we did just open up the maximum number of those reward boxes, the loot boxes that, you had... I think you were the one who had made a comment the other week about how, what if... I bet Lids would do 1,000 of these all at once if he could. Unfortunately, we hit the cap. There is, in fact, a cap. I've discovered what the cap is, and we would have significantly exceeded the cap, if possible. But we did just open the maximum number of those at once. But alas, we're just checking in with Liam here, who has apparently messed up big time. If this goes wrong, it's on you. Now, so admittedly, I don't remember who Varand is, so it kind of sounded like this person might have already been like a... was this one of the outcast people? It wasn't the leader of the outcast, was it? I don't think so. Or maybe it was. I honestly don't remember. In which case, I can understand why, from the beginning, this was kind of like I'm not sure that was a good idea. And then, obviously, this person is now in trouble, and because they got in trouble because Liam gave them this information, and that means that Liam is probably, by extension, now going to be in trouble.
Why didn't you alert everyone immediately?
If they have her info, they have our comms. The Nexus goes on alert, they'll know. Varand's people are tough. They'd have fought if they thought there was a chance. Something made them think there wasn't. I won't risk that. Bad enough I have to involve you. Like I said, I screwed up.
Alright, we'll fix it.
We'll take care of it before it's a problem.
It's already a problem. I got a lead from a trader. A grainy visual. We find that system, we find our bad guys. I also asked Bradley for people to help intercept. I thought they might want to pitch in.
Yeah, like, I'm pretty sure you have authority to do none of these things.
That's what he said. We're on our own. I'll forward the visual to the bridge for when you want to start hunting. And... sorry.
Which is like, you know, on one hand you can say, Lids, what are you with all these hierarchical structures and not allowing people to go out and do what they think is, but like, there's a reason though. Why? Sometimes people who are less experienced or perhaps less capable of doing important things are not tasked with doing those things because they are more likely to mess them up. And the important things, if you do mess them up, that means there may be more significant consequences, which is why sometimes you do want to make sure that you have your most important people doing the most important stuff. So having Liam kind of go behind our backs and do some important things and then mess them up, you know, I can't help but think that perhaps he should not have been doing those things in the first place without getting approval from his boss first, which basically means us. Oh, Liz's boss is always right and employee is always wrong. No, that's not what I'm saying, but clearly Liam messed up and probably could have avoided messing up if he had gotten a little more feedback from other people who perhaps had better perspective on it first.
Anything I can help with?
Okay, granted, this kind of confirms.
I should get back to things.
That at least in some cases, there are not new things to chat with our squad mates about because we technically have not done any new main quest missions. But okay, I think that's good. We got a bunch of stuff done, certainly on the whole, on Voeld, because it is now up at 100%. We've done a bunch of quests there, a bunch of exploration. We have activated the vault. We've taken out the Kett base. And we have now also set up a new outpost there as well. Didn't get another Andromeda level, did we? I know we got some experience from getting the hamster. We should also check out the hamster. We should probably do that. We didn't get pod from that, did we? No, okay. Just making sure. Yeah, maybe it is worth taking a quick stop. See what the deal is with the hamster, bro. We did recently pick up a space hamster, and we've not yet named the space hamster, and that means that that is now our #1 priority. In theory... oh, nope, did I go the wrong way? I did go the wrong way, didn't I? Wait. So rarely actually go over to this spot. This is what I'm looking for. To our right. Ish. It is over here. It is through here, okay. Wait, what? The heck? Okay. Well, the hijack's down here.
He must like it in here. It looks wise. And those are tool-using paws. Are you sure it's not more intelligent than us?
Look out. That's the space monkey. But we should have a space hamster around here somewhere now as well. Oh, there it is. Hard to see. Kind of hard to see from that angle, but can we zoom in on it? There you go. Yeah, so we need to name our space hamster. That is now priority #1. But outside of that, I think we are now at a point where we feel pretty good about where things stand on... we feel much better about where things stand on Voeld. And that means there were, I think... might have even been reasons for us to head back to some of the other planets that we've already been to for other quests, but there was at least one entirely new planet. Oh, and then we also have the whole chase down Archon ship thing, which is one of the other big things that we're trying to do soon. So lots of other stuffs for us to consider taking on next. Don't even remember, have we been to the Nexus recently? Since our previous main quest, we might not have. So there's a lot of directions we can go into for our next mission, and I'm not entirely sure which ones we want to do as our next focal point, because, again, I was obviously trying to focus on Voeld, and for the most part, that has now been checked off the list, but I'll ponder that one a little bit. I'll ponder that.